Hello, Doopies.
So, I took a nap. That was supposed to last an hour, and it lasted 6. So, it's 2 a.m., but I'm uppies! And I blame the mods. I blame the mods of the Discord. So, we were just talking, because I was like, shit, guys, I woke up. I should work. And they were like, yeah, you should work. And then I was like, or gay sex, ha ha ha. And they were like, gay sex? And I was like, well, here we are. I can't pin this on you. There's like 5 of you in control of that account. What are you talking about? I don't even know who I'm talking to. You got work in 6 hours? Well, you have gay sex right now. What's wrong? Pull up. Pull out. What? The mod's got multiple personality disorder? Yep, just like me. Guys, we match. We match. I'm trying desperately to find my mouth settings because my microphone mouth ain't on. It's where my mouth is barely moving. There we go. Ba 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 ba. Ba da ba da ba da ba. Now my mouth will move a little bit more. Or is it? I think it's working. I don't know. I try. I think it's working. Kind of working. I don't know. We're gonna hope and pray. Anyways, it doesn't really matter. I am not the center of attention tonight. The cage is for your own protection. It is for your own protection. Wait, where'd my little Youpie go? Oh, I might be sitting on him. Hold on. I'm sorry. Oh, are you okay down there? Oh no, buddy. You're gonna be all right. Oh, there we go. Oh, he's okay. He's okay. We'll just there we go. We'll put him right there. He'll be okay. He'll be fine. He'll be fine. He's fine. Okay? He's fine. He's fine. Pull out? Well, that's something that a lot of the guys in this game have to learn. Prepare yourselves for slow damage. Oh, slow damage. So, a little introduction. For those of you who may be familiar with the game, whether you've played it, seen it, or just been terrified of it for many years, DramaticalMurder. Well, this is not DramaticalMurder 2, as I clickbaitingly said. This is Slow Damage, the spiritual successor to DramaticalMurder, as it is the game that came out 10 years later from the beautiful, wonderful, amazing, stunning company Nitro Plus Churl. Are you late for GEX? No, don't worry. The GEX hasn't started yet. And the nice thing, the wonderful, the beautiful thing that you're not even gonna, expect from this is that the true GEX doesn't even start until chapter 3. Because this game is mostly body horror. So, small warning. If you're not good with blood, guts, gay sex, maybe leave. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff about to happen. Body horror, not explicit butt action. I mean, this is the 18+ version. Oh shit. Wait, that means I need to make a hide my screen thing. I'll make that later. So another fun thing about Slow Damage is there's an actual game. Thank you for purchasing Slow Damage. Before we begin, there's a helpful explanation of the interrogation gameplay segments. Yeah. So, fun part about this game. You get to interrogate these mentally ill men, and if you interrogate them incorrectly, they will murder you. You'll need this information because interrogation can be tricky. Very true. I thought I was going to use the not 18 plus. That's only available with DramaticalMurder. Sounds like I'm like raising a flag. I mean, if we see gay sex, we see gay sex. You know? Luckily, they usually hide it from you at first. Like, they don't just go, boom, penis. Like, they show you, like, first, like, oh, his face is all red. And then I'll go, hey, wait a minute. This looks like gay sex. You know? You'll be able to skip this tutorial on subsequent playthroughs. During an interrogation, as you speak to your target, try to fill the euphoria gauge. Doing so will progress the story. That's your ultimate objective in every interrogation. Talk to him and try to expose a secret. The text you see in your memo pad will serve as a hint. Act accordingly to make progress in the interrogation. That being said, it's not only a hint and isn't necessarily always the right choice. Depending on the flow of the conversation and your target's body language, you may want to take things in a different direction. Oh, great! I need to use social skills to avoid getting murdered by gay men? So, just so you guys know, I have played halfway through this game before. Halfway. That's it. So I've not beat it. And all I'm going to say is I got murdered a lot. I got murdered so much. No, I haven't even finished it. Why have I not finished it? It's a really long game. Your choices will determine the outcome. Beat it. Oh, wait, let me... How do I... Hold on. Okay. Next, let's talk about the hourglass and jagged lines. Oh, fun. The hourglass represents your target's euphoria level. Fill the hourglass to the line at the middle. My chair is squeaking so much. Apparently it's difficult. Yes, it's very difficult to not be murdered by these men, okay? It's hard. Fill the hourglass to the line at this middle, and then the sound will start... I can't read. The sand will start glowing. This means you've achieved full euphoria. Should I shrink my cage a little bit? Here, wait. I cannot be contained. Is this better? Do you guys like this? Is this comedically better? Like, this small cage can barely contain me. My horribleness. Booba jail? Booba jail. As you approach full euphoria, the red line will flash, letting you know you're almost there. The purple line at the bottom is the minimum baseline for euphoria. If the sand should fall below this line, it means I get murdered. Yeah. It will result in a game over, so be careful. The sand will glow to warn you if you start to get too close. The jagged lines represent the target's madness. In other words, their emotional wounds. As their wounds are ripped open, madness will increase. At the blue fill line, you achieve full madness. As you approach, it will start glowing. At full madness, and the hourglass will start to crack like slow. So as a recap, at full euphoria, the sand will glow, and at full madness, the hourglass will crack. As the wound closes, madness will decrease. Achieving full euphoria will complete the interrogation, but full madness will lead to other paths and affect the ending. Route branching only occurs during important story scenes, but the results of each interrogation will impact the euphoria and madness of the ones that follow. High euphoria will grant a euphoria bonus. Low madness will inflict a madness penalty. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, basically, I get killed very often because...
No.
Hi, Toa. Yeah. I get murdered all the time. During the interrogation, you respond with negative or positive answers. So you have to explore, like, the town sometimes, and that's how you get, like, extra information to ask them things. So he looks miserable, so we're gonna be nice to him. Deny it all you want, but that's what people see you. They see him as a vampire. I don't think this is an actual guy in the story. I've never seen him. I think he's just a tutorial guy, but I don't know. I'd like to meet him. I want a vampire. You got jump scared by the Do you want me to make it louder? You want to drink blood, right?
気になるな。
This game is just as stylish as Persona 5, okay? And it's a freaking yaoi. Who's the MC? Toa. Toa is the main character. This is who we play as. Right now, this is just a tutorial. We have to go through it so we understand how to technically not get murdered. Blah, blah, blah. I think I'm losing already. Um...
この傷跡。
This man's deepest desire... Oh, okay, no, I'm winning, I think. Yoink. Oh, thirsty. He want blood.
喉が渇く。
Yoink. I ripped open his emotional wounds. Ugh. No, this game is stylish as fuck. Like, hear me out. Like, put the gay sex aside, and it's, like, such a crazy game. Like, the music, the sound design. The sound design. The art. Y'all don't even know what you're in for. Okay, okay. Here we go. 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 The human heart is soft, like a fistful of fine sand. So, you must be very careful with how you handle it. Oh, this fucking soundtrack. I'm not quite sure how to describe it. I never imagined my wish would come true. You've made me so happy. There's a little dot right there. Period. Happy period. Drip, drip, drip. It started to rain. Mindlessly, I moved my brush. How's the sound, by the way? Do we like this? I turned the volume all the way up, so when they moan, you can hear it. How we feeling? Thanks, you're welcome! Mindlessly, I moved my brush. The platter of the rain mingled with the faint scritching of paint spreading across the canvas. The sound slowly filled my empty head. I can turn my mic up a little bit. I can, like, adjust my mic volume. How's that? The sound slowly filled my empty head. It felt like my insides were melting. Melting in the heat of the dark desire I had just harvested. But before that feeling faded away entirely, I needed to get it out of my system. I needed to capture it on the canvas. He's artistic, guys.
埋め立て地の老朽化が深刻になっています。新興味の A ブロックはかつての高里組の構想で廃墟となり、それ以来整備が行われていません。
おい。おい。 起きろ。いつまで寝てるんだ。
Maybe I should put the Fujo jail over there, actually, because... Wait. Even though I'll be... Wait, but I'll be covering up the guy, though. Oh, wait. Okay, look. Wait. I can see where it cuts off. You guys don't mind if I'm, like, smaller, I guess. I gotta make my jail smaller again. How's this? I'm itty bitty now, but you can read the words, because it is fully in Japanese. There is no English. Perfect? Okay, good. A familiar deep voice spoke into my ear, summoning me back into the waking world. Was it morning, or closer to noon, or was it later than that? I'd slept like the dead, and my perception of time was shot. I lifted my head from the sofa where I lay face down. My eyelids were practically glued shut. Blinking, I forced them open. What time had I gone to bed last night? Definitely sometime past midnight. At some point, I had passed out on the sofa.
もう昼だぞ。出勤時間はとうに過ぎてる。
At this, I sluggishly pushed myself up into a sitting position. Taku! The other man peered closely at me, exuding orange smoke. His name was Murase Takuma, or Taku for short.
お前な、常々思ってるんだが、本当に働く気があるのか？ああ。おい、ちゃんと目を見て返事しろ。
Okay, I'm still kind of blocking it. God dang it. Maybe, okay, it would just be better to move to the other side. It's gonna bother me, so I'm just gonna move over here. I know it is, so I'm just gonna do it now. When your Oshi has ADHD OCD, but won't get help. It's fine. Boom, boom. Yeah, I need a left side right toggle. I need a bunch of things. I'm just lazy. I mean, I'm the MC. I am the MC. I looked up into Taku's reproachful eyes. Truly unburdened, having been dropped by Corp, loving your research. Yeah. I'm glad you're enjoying yourself. His brow was furrowed deeply. As I spoke, I grabbed a pack of cigarettes off the coffee table, pulled one out, and put it between my lips. In solidarity with Toa.
とっとと起きて支度しろってんだ。
Darn, tell me to get the fuck up. Right as I lit my cigarette and took my first slow drag, Taku reached out and ruffled my hair. I shook my head slightly to knock his hand away. Taku let out an exaggerated sigh. His other arm carried a stack of clean clothes. He was a sort of busybody who would periodically come into my apartment to clean and do laundry. According to him, it would turn into a pigsty otherwise, and he was correct.
ここに置いておくぞ。
He set the clean laundry on the bed, then turned to the door.
しかしこの部屋、ほんと油臭いよな。今更だろ。まあ、別に嫌いじゃないがな。あ、 それとお前、またテレビつけっぱなしだったぞ。いい加減ちゃんと消してから寝ろよ。
多分な。
多分ってなんだ。それじゃ、下で待ってるぞ。早く来いよ。
That's a big thorax? Are you talking about his Adam's apple? Double wide dom? Oh yeah, dog is big. And with that, he left. The paint smell could be traced to the stuff I'd spilled over the corner. I spilled it. Oh, his chest. I see. The paint smell could be traced to the stuff I'd piled over in the corner. A bunch of canvases, a slapdash collection of paints, a well-worn palette, and a handful of brushes. A forest of rectangular canvases, a disorganized pile of paints, old worn-out palettes and brushes. But the fumes didn't bother me, or maybe I was just used to them by now. I leaned back against his... I'm sorry, I'm down bad for Toa too. I'm so bad. I leaned back against the sofa, cigarette between my lips, forcing my fuzzy brain to think. What happened yesterday? I bit back a yawn. My body felt like lead. Oh, that's right. Yesterday I'd gone out late at night to drink at the usual place, and some rando started talking to me. Look, this is my biggest... Toa is my biggest red flag. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, you know how if someone's like favorite like game or anime is like, oh my god, my favorite is Danganronpa or like Homestuck, like that probably aged me, but like red flag. I was totally blitzed, so when he invited me to leave, I jumped at the chance without even looking at him. Then he led me into a narrow alley, and for some reason, we were both so horny we started screwing right there. Even I couldn't tell you why I was so worked up. Now my back ached from being slammed up against a brick wall. The guy wasn't much of a lay. How old was he? 20s? No, maybe early 30s? Regardless, I must have accidentally taken too many pills when I got home because I slept like a log. It was Taku who prescribed them to me in the first place, since I'd always kind of been an insomniac. On the nights I didn't take them, I'd either have terrifying nightmares or I'd drift in and out of sleep all night long, sometimes until noon. Last night I was so drunk I couldn't remember how many I'd taken. Nothing new, though. I knew you weren't supposed to take medicine with alcohol in your system. As a result, I always felt like shit. Taku kept telling me to knock it off, but I had no plans to stop. I want to fix him. I want to fucking fix him. I want to fuck and fix him. Unfortunately, he's not real. And a project like this would probably literally kill me. Haven't heard you drool like this since midnight. Hi, welcome in, welcome. I'm not sorry for what you're all witnessing. Wait, oh my god, wait, I just got a scab back. I'm sorry. Ooh, don't look. Where is it? Oh my goodness. That's so cute. Wait, I'm gonna download it. I'm gonna download it and spoil it for my mods. My mods do get spoiled. That's why I have so many of them. They're like my children. I force them to do labor, and then I give them sneak peeks at art. Yeah, mod privileges is literally my child slave labor. Because they're mine. That's why I gave them one little account to share. Yeah, they get paid in peeking. basically. They get paid in seeing things a month or two early. Oh my goodness, look, pink. Ah! Good scab. The things we've seen. Just because I spammed you with porn earlier doesn't mean anything, okay? I may or may not have sent so much, like, girl threesome and yaoi to my mods. Teehee. Anyways. I pinched the cig between my fingers, drew my sleeve to my nose, and took a whiff. It reeked of booze, smoke, and sweat. I knew Taku wanted me downstairs ASAP, but I needed a shower. Last time I went to work in this state, the elderly patients all gave me dirty looks. Cigarette in mouth, I rose to my feet and stretched, but then I became aware of my empty stomach. With the idle realization that my body was hungry, I slid my gaze over the table and floor. What I saw wasn't food, but booze. I seem to remember leaving a half-empty bottle somewhere around here, but couldn't find it. Did Taku move it? If so, he probably put it back in the fridge. But to me, getting stuff out of the fridge was too much effort. If you offered me food and alcohol, I'd take the booze without hesitation. Food never interested me much. You know what? I think the main reason why I like Toa is just because Toa is kind of me. If I truly let myself go, probably. With nothing to drink, my only option was to take one last drag, then crush my cigarette in the ashtray. Yeah, he's a little too scary relatable. If I was a gay man, as I exhaled gray smoke, I trudged into the bathroom and stepped into the shower stall. Oh, my pen died. This is a yaoi. Eee! Do you guys understand now? Do you understand? Okay. Are you ready? So, we got that opening. Okay, we got that opening. And then we got the music. Now, are you guys ready for the backstory? Are you ready to be sold? Are you ready? Are you ready to be sold? Tokyo in the year 22X. 2020 something. After Japan went to great lengths to host the Olympic Games, the international sporting event ended in record-breaking failure. Burdened with massive debt, the nation was plunged into economic insecurity. poverty rate, which had been slowly growing since the late 2010s, showed no signs of abating. Then, starting in the early 2020s, the gulf between the rich and the poor widened dramatically. Young people in particular were especially impoverished, and the underemployment rate soared to more than 60% for both men and women. Even with a full-time job, they knew they would be overworked and underpaid. Thus, the suicide rate shot up. Also increasingly exponentially among young people for the first time ever, homelessness and crime rates. The nation of Japan was visibly heading into decline. This was a major recession on a historic level. The one outlier was Shinkomi. Previously called Tokyo Waterfront City, this was the only part of the country where casinos were legally allowed to operate. As a result, it was reestablished as a special economic zone. Seems like a dividend of the future, considering that Don't do this, Neil. You will regret this, Neil. Thank you, Neil. But the government's infamous casino bill received criticism on all sides. At the start of construction, the hired contractor, the Takasato Gumi, was suspected of rigging bids for the contract. After a tremendous struggle, they eventually settled on a more realistic proposal. The bill would only legalize small-scale public casinos in specific areas. When the dust settled, all that remained was a steel frame monument on a vacant lot and a community of prostitutes and vagrants. But then there came a turning point. The leader of the Takasato Gumi, Takasato Ryojiro, offered to buy the whole thing and take over operations. Everyone assumed it would end in failure, but as it turned out, he received a great deal of funding behind the scenes. In this dark era, the people wanted someone to change things, so they clung to the first ray of hope they thought they saw. Plagued with crushing national debt and a dying economy, the government had no other option. A short time later, after an agonizing debate, the Takasato Gumi was given full control of Shinkomi development and operations. None opposed the subsequent amendment to the casino bill, which slashed the public-only requirement. A year later, the city was overflowing with people in pursuit of liberty and money. Lured in by the all-encompassing resort facilities, international tourism increased by 60%. And so Shinkomi became known as Japan's biggest casino resort. Office buildings and recreational attractions sprang up one after another, creating a massive entertainment district. Next came the residential and business districts, and after that, Shinkomi became the one bright spot amid the devastating depression. Meanwhile, it required a certain amount of aggressive force to control a world full of unspoken rules. As Shinkomi brought Japan's economy back to life, the Takasato Gumi began to expand their control. Eventually, when the tacit threat stopped working, the government designated Shinkomi as a special administrative region. After that, the Takasato Gumi essentially had their own little nation that they could govern as they saw fit. But this slapdash prosperity was never destined to last long. Everything began to decline at a slow, leisurely pace. Now, more than a decade later, in the year 20-something, so this game approximately probably takes place in 2030s. 2030s, 2040s, maybe. The generation born during the decline of the early 21st century were henceforth called hapless children. Day in and day out, they traveled to the business district either to forget their chronic depression or earn enough money to eat that day. The casino industry was still thriving, but the bubble had burst. And as Shinkomi started to decay, criminal activity became more common. Nevertheless, with one last shred of hope in their hearts, they lingered in this lawless town. Welcome to Slow Damage. It's no use. This just isn't enough. Not anymore. Chapter 1. Phrase. It's not Blaze, it's Phrase. It's Phrase. Not Blaze, Phrase. It's meant for me, though. Blaze. Chapter 1. Blaze. Okay, we're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna take a quick break so everyone can just breathe in, breathe out. How are we feeling? I'm in horny jail. I am in horny jail. I'm happy here. How are we feeling? It's almost 6 a.m. It is. Chillin'? I'm glad everyone's chillin'. Do we have any questions? I know that was a bit of an opening. Do you have any questions? My Neko arc? I can be a dog, I can be a cat, I can be your angle, I can be your devil. Still pretty calm so far. Yeah, for now. For now. Like I said, it does take a while until we get, you know... Can you do the opening again? I can play the opening again while I'm gone. I need to go to the bathroom real quick. Hold on. Are you guys ready? Ready? Don't fall in. I'll try my darndest, okay? Here you go. Isn't it beautiful? Just loop that real quick. Okay, I'll be back. I'll be back. I just realized it's gonna be playing both of them at the same time. Wait, no, I don't want to quit the game. Space, no. Tab, no. Backspace, no. Right click. There we go. Right click did it. Save. Save data. I'm gonna do this real quick. I'm gonna save it before I fuck that up. And then we're just gonna... How do I make it quiet for a second? Config menu. Volume. BGM. There we go. Okay, I'll be back. I'll be back. I'll be back. I'll be back. Be good. Be good. Be good. Be good, you bees. Be good.
開かれた傷と欲望スローダメージ2021年発売予定開かれた傷と欲望スローダメージ2021年発売予定
Alrighty, I'm back. Were you good? It seems like so. They said the thing, they do say the thing. So, you want a little warning? I can do that. Warning. Gore and sex. Gore and gay. There you go. There's your warning, buddy. How do we feel about music? Where was the music even? I feel like 66 is fine. Morning! Don't quit the game. Oh wait, I just don't have to save my changes. There we go, that's fine. G means go, exactly. On a quiet corner of a residential block. Murasei Clinic stood concealed among the rows of prefab houses. This tiny clinic first opened 7 years ago, privately owned and operated by Murasei Takuma himself. Specializing in internal medicine, dermatology, and gastroenterology, Dr. Murasei had an upstanding reputation that attracted patients not just from the local neighborhood, but workers from the business district too. The clinic opened its doors somewhat late at 10 a.m. From 1:30 to 4 p.m., Taku would take a long lunch, and then after he got back, he'd stay open until 1 a.m. His unusual hours were dearly appreciated by night workers who couldn't find time to go to the doctor otherwise. I had a part-time job here at this clinic. In exchange for low wages, Taku let me sleep in the apartment upstairs on top of the floor. Clinic. Blah, blah. Blah, blah. Oh, that was a loud sound, sorry. Below that, the second floor was home to the secondary medical ward, oh my goodness, full of hospital cots. The primary medical ward was down on the first floor next to the exam room. As for Taku himself, he didn't live here at the clinic. I never asked for this job or this rented room, it was all his idea. He wanted me to build character or something. That was why he never fired me, no matter how badly I overslept. Conversely, you could say you didn't put any stock in me whatsoever. I didn't fight it since it would only create more of a hassle, but I wasn't interested in improving my life. If you got sick of me and threw me out on the street, then so be it. And I felt no fear towards the future. Not because I couldn't picture it, but because I had no real sense of urgency. I knew it would all work out regardless. Or maybe I just didn't have anything left to lose. As soon as I walked out of the bathroom, a yawn escaped my lips. I hadn't bothered to dry my hair. Sleepily, I scanned the room with one blurry eye. But see, now I'm sad. You can't see how beautiful Toa is. Ugh. You don't understand. He's beautiful. He's beautiful. Was it a fart? No, it was me moving my cup. Everyone, relax. Oh yeah, he voice acts everything. Everything is voice acted. It's beautiful. I didn't bother to dry my hair. Sleepily, I scanned the room with one blurry eye. On a whim, my gaze settled on the pocket watch hanging on the easel in the corner of the room. I couldn't remember when or where I got it, but Ray put it on the easel after he found it lying around somewhere in my room. That was a few years back. The watch itself was stopped, but I didn't feel like winding it, so it basically just sat there for decoration. Instead of the non-functioning pocket watch, I looked up at the wall clock. It was just past 11:15 a.m. If I didn't hurry down to the first floor, Taku was going to come raging up here any minute now. I got dressed and left the apartment without bothering to lock it behind me. Then I walked to the elevator and pressed the down button. There was nothing in that apartment worth stealing anyway. I rode the elevator down to the first floor, then headed to the waiting room. Sitting at the reception desk where I worked was an uptight guy by the name of Arimura Tsukasa. Hello, Tsukasa. When he spotted me, he scowled, rose to his feet, left the desk. The look on his face screamed, "You're late." Technically, I was supposed to be covering the reception desk, but Arimura must have come in to cover for me. This happened on occasion, and that occasion happened a lot. An aura of faded blue swayed around Arimura. I called the colorful aura smoke. Apparently, only I could see it. Each person had their own uniquely colored smoke, which shifted depending on their mental state. The most obvious change happened when someone was angry. The color would get muddy. I couldn't see my own smoke, however. No clue when I first started seeing it. From what I could remember, I used to think everyone could see it. Once I found out that wasn't the case, I stopped telling people about it. Was it some kind of superpower? Probably not. More than likely, it was proof that something was wrong with me, like a hallucination. Hence, I generally didn't give it much thought. I called out to Arimura in spite of his resting bitch face. He was the most reliable nurse Murase Clinic had. Whenever his shift ended, he would go downtown to go drinking at a gay bar. Everyone's gay, remember that. If you're expecting women in this story, you get none. Apparently I wasn't his type. Even chat, even chat.
遅れて悪かったって。
いいえ、それは今更なのでもういいです。
Especially chat.
それより自分宛ての荷物はちゃんと持って行ってください。いつも置きっぱなしじゃないですか。
ああ。
放置するなら処分しますから。
All mail delivered to the clinic was taken to the staff room. Arimura was in charge of sorting it. Sometimes I would buy art supplies or books online, but other than that, I never got any packages. So if I received anything else in the mail, I just assumed it was junk and didn't bother collecting it.
それでいいよ。
His eyes narrowed even further, but I ignored him and stepped into the staff room. The reception desk and staff room were divided by a single curtain. I pushed past it and arrived at the reception desk interior. Arimura gave me a dirty look and walked off down the hall. There he is, my beautiful boy. I From here on, I would spend the next few hours bored out of my skull. The clinic was quiet, peaceful, and utterly devoid of stimulus. I called the next patient up to pay their bill, then I set their medical exam card, insurance card, itemized bill, and prescription up on the counter. Robotically, I processed the payment, then, biting back another yawn, I called for the next patient to proceed to the exam room. Dun 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 dun! Slow damage. Today my shift ended in the afternoon, so I headed back to my apartment. I lounged lazily on the sofa for a while, then after the clinic closed, I headed back downstairs. They said the name? I said the name. No real reason, I was just bored of my apartment. Hello, man. As I sat slumped on a bench in the empty waiting room, Taku walked out from the hallway, his orange smoke hanging over him. He's a nurse and a painter? Well, he's not really a nurse. He just kind of does the reception desk. Stretching his arms up, he turned his head from side to side, cracking his neck so loudly I half wondered if he broke something. I didn't mean a word of it, though. He snorted at me.
寝坊常習犯に言われたくないな。
ちゃんと働いただろ。
そう言いたければ朝はちゃんと起きろよ。俺。
He pulled something out of his coat pocket and tossed it at me. I caught it and looked down. It was a can of coffee.
入れてくれないのか？
お前なんか缶コーヒーで十分だ。
Doesn't one have to be a nurse in order to see medical history? Look, man, this is Shinkomi. That being said, he was still treating me to a free coffee as a token of his appreciation. Taku bought canned coffee in bulk and kept his staff room stocked at all times for this exact reason. Sometimes when he was feeling up to it, he'd make fresh coffee instead, but for the most part, he took the faster, easier option. Yes, I am cat girl, so I could be dogging down bad for these boys.
備品の発注と掃除終わりました。
終わりました. Right as I cracked open the can, the exam room door opened and a bubbly voice rang out. My baby! It was Izumi Rei, one of the other part-timers. His main job was a bar called Roost, but since they didn't open until 5 p.m., he would often pick up shifts at the clinic to fill the time. Evidently, he wasn't working at Roost tonight since he was still here this late. Our clinic employed 2 nurses, 4 part-timers, and 1 doctor.
ありがとな。
Smiling, Taku looked over at Rei and raised a hand in acknowledgement.
全然いいのよ。気にしないで。
I love him. I love him. Listen, Rei's story impacted me the most in Slow Damage. Like, you don't even understand the story that Rei has. I'm gonna hope that I hope that I can shoot for his route. I'm gonna try to get it this time around because trust me, like, my heart.
お疲れ。
But as soon as Rei laid eyes on me, he stormed right over to me.
ちょっと。あんた今日も寝坊したでしょ。有村君に仕事を押し付けて。
少しだけだろ。
開き直らないの。寝坊は寝坊よ。
No, psst, 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 get out of here. He put his hands on his hips and scolded me like he was my mom. Mommy, mommy, mommy. But his smoke was bright yellow, and since it wasn't swaying, I could tell he wasn't really that angry. Born to a Japanese father and an English mother, he had a well-sculpted face. Because of this, he was widely popular with her patients, particularly women.
もう、あんまり迷惑かけないようにしてよね。有村君、とっても真面目に働いてくれてるんだから。
そうだそうだ。もっと言ってやれ。
Taku leaned back against the reception counter and cracked open his can with a smirk. I'm just sad. I don't think there's ever a chance. I don't think I get to have a threesome with these two, and I think that's very unfortunate. Believe it or not, he was pretty well-liked too. Hiding beneath that stubble and post-work fatigue was a manly, rough-hewn face. Plus, the patients were all praised his warm bedside manner. To them, his messy hair and stubble was rugged rather than lazy. Weird how this somehow never applied to me. You're about to eat dinner? You're about to have a dinner and a show.
帰ったか？
とっくの昔に。
そうか。今日はいつもより長く入ってくれて助かったよ、レイ。ありがとな。
どういたしまして。お礼はスイーツでもいいのよ。
ファミレスのパフェでいいか？
オッケー。
The boys. As I watched their conversation from the sidelines, my gaze drifted to Taco.
疲れてるな。
ん？
You know, if you need dinner with noises happening, don't worry. Gay sex doesn't happen for a while. You'll be safe.
疲れてる。顔が。
おう。
Grimacing, he touched his cheek and sighed. Granted, he always looked tired, but lately it was more noticeable than ever.
何？疲れてるの？寝不足？
それもあるが、気疲れだ。
He really called him out like that.
気疲れ？
He let out an even bigger sigh. Bro, I feel that though, Taku.
うちの患者さん、夜の仕事についてる人も多いだろ？
そうね。昼間はお年寄りや子連れの人もいるけど、深夜になると男女関係なく夜の仕事の人が増えるわね。
ま、その中には事情があって働いてるって人も結構いてな。診察中に悩みを相談されることもあるわけだ。
悩みって、ああ、メンタル面でってことか。
そうだ。家庭の事情だったり、友人や知人には簡単に話せないような重い話だったりな。心の方は専門外だから治療できんが、相談があった時はできる限り話を聞くようにはしてる。無下にするわけにもいかないし、それで患者さんの心が少しでも軽くなるならいいだろう。
My phone keeps buzzing. I keep getting emails. It's like not now emails. Yowie.
そうね。
で、悩み相談ってのは前からちょくちょくあったんだが、どうも最近そういう患者さんが多くてな。
多い？増えたってこと？
うん。少し前までは1週間に1人2人くらいだったんだが、明らかに増えてる。それに
Everyone's having a hard time, man. He seemed to remember something. He stopped short and looked away.
切羽詰まった患者さんが増えた気がするんだ。話をしているうちに泣き出したり、いきなり声を荒げたりとかな。
たまに診察室から怒鳴り声が聞こえてくるけど、あれってそういうことだったんだ。
できることならメンタルケアもしてやりたいとは思うんだが、そうもいかないからな。ただ感情が高ぶってる状態の患者をないがしろにするわけにもいかんだろ。
そうね。最近診察時間がや
Maybe
け
good night,
に
you
長い
get
患者さんがい
drowsy.
るな
That's
とは
okay.
思
Visual
ってたけ
novels
ど。
do tend to do that. Do tend to do that.
どう対応したらいいものかってずっと考えてるんだが。
Hello. You've been trapped by, say, GEX. Welcome. It's also 5 a.m. That's fair. Rubbing the back of his hand, Taku let out his third sigh of the night. But really, was it any wonder that more and more of his patients were starting to have mental health problems? Girl, hi. Over the past decade, Japan's younger generation had been plunged into extreme poverty. A few years ago, you'd see people on TV yelling about the 20-30 age demographic inability to save money or find a stable career, but now it's even worse. These days, you saw women curled up in their underwear on the sidewalk while men started fights and mugged strangers. Young teenagers would dress in slutty clothes to work the corners. Compared to 10 years ago, there were a lot more murder cases, and many of them were either unsolved or dropped. The cops were useless too. They couldn't keep up with the growing number of criminals. But of course, here, under the Takasato Gumi's thumb, the Shingomi police force was basically just there for decoration. The gig economy had become commonplace, so jobs were scarce, the cost of living was high, and wages were at an all-time low. These things all helped drive people to rock bottom, where they had no choice but to keep living. The nation of Japan was seeing povertization on a level that, a few decades ago, was never seen outside dystopian fiction. Shinkomi had a disproportionately large number of hospitals, possibly in correlation to the crime levels. Naturally, there were plenty of unlicensed or back-alley doctors to be found here. These days, hospitals probably had to serve as These days, hospitals probably had to serve as battered women's shelters on top of everything else. Like Taku said, doctors had a sworn duty to help people, and people here needed help, not just with their bodies, but with their minds, too. There's nothing worse than trying... Nice way to put it, Toa. There's nothing better than trying to, like, read a really, like, serious part of a visual novel and just totally flubbing it, so you're just like... With how often I see sci-fi with Japan building a man-made island, at this point I'm thinking it was a real plan they had. I mean, when you think about it, Japan only has so much space, and most of it is basic. It's pretty much all occupied. So it makes sense that they would be like, make a new island. Taku and Ray both turned to look at me. Yeah, like, not nice, Toa. I downed my coffee, set the empty can on the floor, and rose to my feet.
どこ行くの？
散歩。
ちょっと。
But I ignored Ray's frustrated retort, walked to the front door, and left the building. Exhaling white fog into the cold air, I reached into the back pocket of my pants and pulled out my cigarettes. All right, Toa. I'd forgotten to grab a coat, but I was too lazy to go back and get one, so I figured I'd be fine. As I walked down the dirty sidewalk, I put a cigarette between my lips and lit it. In Shinkomi, the nights were long. If anything, it had only just begun. Oh, this is my favorite monologue. I think this is the monologue where Toa calls himself like a cum dumpster or something. Like usual, I stumbled around town on a whim, looking for a one-night stand. Not because I was especially lonely or sought another human's warmth or anything like that. It's such a fucking tsundere answer. Like, that's the sluttiest tsundere thing I've ever heard. I felt no love, no passion, no desire. All my emotions had rusted over. Sex was just the only way I could feel anything at all. Well, not the only way. The other way was through violence, fistfights. But what I wanted was an all-out brawl, enough to kill me. And I knew there were very few people in this world capable of that. Most people I fought had held back, even just subconsciously, afraid to hurt me beyond a certain threshold. Thus, there was no point in looking for someone special. Generally speaking, I felt very little in the way of standard human emotions. No idea when it started, but I probably wasn't born like this. Sometimes I got irritated when people nagged me too much, but for the most part, I held it in. Other people seemed to see me as an unfeeling monster. But in the rare moments that I was overcome with powerful impulse, I forgot this part. I don't like this part. This is the part I don't like about Toa. Toa enjoys very violent sex and being beaten. That was when I truly felt joy. And while many were too scared to enact violence directly, there were plenty in this town that loved to hurt people on the inside. So yeah, I had a lot of hookups. If you asked me I liked sex, I would say yes. But I wasn't interested in learning about the person attached to the dick, nor did I feel like telling them about me. I just wanted them to use me like a fuck toy and throw me away. Oh, there we go. He calls himself a fuck toy. That was the compromise I was willing to make. It's been a while since I played this game. It came out in 2021. So I think it's been like, it's literally been like 2 years. The next day, yeah, we can't fix him. We really can't. I didn't work at the clinic, so I slept in till noon. I awoke lying on my back on the sofa. I sat up, lit a cigarette, and took a drag. In the end, I never did find a hookup last night. Instead, I picked a random bar, had some drinks, and went home. All in all, it was a pretty tame night, considering the previous night where I drank until I blacked out. Because of that, it felt lackluster. I took my time enjoying my cigarette, gazing at the TV that had been left on all night. Then, suddenly, a news chyron flashed on screen. Takasato Gumi leader Takasato Ryojiro, 81, dead of heart failure.
新興組高里組の組長である高里隆二郎さんが心不全のため亡くなりました。早朝自宅にて息を
My eye was locked on the white text. The leader of the Takasato Gumi was dead.
今後について高里組は
But the surprise faded. For the record, I had been informed that this man was my biological father. My mother was his mistress. In other words, I was his illegitimate son. That said, I had next to no memory of being around him. Frankly, I could only vaguely remember what he looked like. So I didn't have much of an emotional response to the news of his passing. Just sort of, oh, he died. I looked away from the TV and leaned back against the sofa. Just then, I heard a muffled buzzing noise and realized the cell phone on the far edge of the sofa was ringing. I picked it up and looked at the screen. Sakaki was calling. I could also see a series of notifs that indicated he'd been calling for a while. He probably wanted to talk about my father, and if so, I wasn't interested. I dropped the phone back onto the sofa without answering it. Cigarette dangling from my lips, I stared up at the ceiling. I had no real plans for today. Maybe I'd wander around downtown. With that thought, I took a long, deep drag. To Toa! Poor buddy. Like I said, Toa's a character. Like, I've said it before. I really like really just fucked up dark media. I can't help it. I feel like a lot of people try to hide, like, that side of themselves, and they're like, oh yeah, I like My Little Pony, and I'm adorable and cute, and shit, I'm getting stuck on everything. But anyways, they're like, bah, 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 and I'm just like, yes, give me darkness, give me pain, give me suffering. Yes! I don't know what it is. It's like, for some reason, it's like, for me, it's like, it's less of a relation thing where I'm like, oh yeah, that's so me. Like, sometimes, but I'm mostly like, oh, it's cool to see that other people, like, think this way, I guess, and, like, create things and make things that represent, like, this sort of, like, thought process. It's calming in that way, because it's like, oh, I'm not crazy. Or at least not as much as I thought. Exhaling smoke, I crushed my cigarette in the ashtray. Then I rose to my feet and pulled on my coat. Now then, where to? Where's to say GEX? It's coming, okay? Now we have directed exploration. Yeah. So we gotta go, we gotta explore. So we can get things. So we're gonna go and we're gonna go say hi to people. Dating sim moment, I know, right? This is Murase Clinic. Taku started it up 7 years ago. For a small, privately run facility, it has a good reputation that draws in patients, not only from the neighborhood, but the downtown area as well. The doors open a bit later than most at 10 a.m., but in exchange, it stays open until 1 a.m., which is helpful for patients that work the night shift. In general, Shinkomi has a lot of hospitals. Most of them are either single rooms or large-scale facilities. So in that sense, a standalone building like Murase Clinic is apparently rather unusual. Just that. Oh, it's my favorite guy. Okay, this is Exposition Guy. Just then I sensed someone's gaze and looked over. I thought I saw something slip into the shadow of a building. Or was my mind playing tricks on me? Okay, ready?
あ
We love this guy. We love this guy. We love this guy. It's you. You're Toa, right? Yeah. Talk to him. Why is he wearing a thick coat? 'Cause he's mysterious exposition man.
ポジティブに
So what if I am? I may be Toa. You're Toa, right? And the reason I know is because he knows, right? He who? I'm going to surpass him. Or my name is Inada. Yeah, I don't know who the fuck this guy is. I still don't know truly who this guy is. I've never met him. Again, he comes every once in a while and he talks about his exposition, and that's about it. That's all he does. He's the main character in his story, and that's all that matters. Yes, hi, I'm back. I was only gone for about like 7 hours. Yeah, he's the information guy. He's got all the things. This is District E's residential area. If you live in Shinkomi, chances are high your apartment is in District E. District E is full of skyscrapers, all of them high-rise condo buildings. It's an attempt to make the most living space out of a critically limited area. The downdrop from the skyscrapers create strong winds in the area. Oh man, every time Toa smokes, I gotta smoke. Look guys, if we did that as an actual challenge of like drink or smoke every time Toa does, we'd all die. Not to mention the majority of these buildings aren't up to code. So if we get hit with a major earthquake, they'll probably collapse. But the residents of District E choose to live here anyway. Someone concerned with safety wouldn't dare live in Shinkomi in the first place. And now we go to the shopping street. This is the main street of the center of District D. For the most part, residents of District D pass through here to do their shopping. With all the diners, convenience stores, discount stores, and drugstores packed in like sardines, it's easy to find what you need. The streets are busy, though not as packed as District D. Everywhere you look, there's people working or people getting wasted. The traffic light changed and the crowd started walking, but just then I spotted a familiar face out of the corner of my eye. It was Ray carrying a paper bag in one hand.
あら
My boy. What are you doing here?
よ
I'm only back from Tajima's. Oh yeah, I guess I am gonna be doing slightly some voice acting. Cause like, they don't always talk. She gave me a bunch of stuff, so I thought I'd share some with Taku. Again. It was a thank you gift for helping her.
あ、ねえ
Oh, that reminds me. I left a croquette in the fridge for you. Did you eat it? Yeah.
Positive.
Totally. Little.
え
For real? Just a bite.
やった
Still, that's like a big step for you. So if you just imagine they're women in your head, this suddenly turns into a Yuri. I added condensed milk when I was making them. It's supposed to improve the consistency. Condensed milk? And croquettes? It sounds crazy, but it works. You tasted it yourself, right? Well, yeah. Next time, I think I might try rice croquettes.
戻らなくっちゃ
Anyway, I'm headed back to the clinic. Alright. Gotta get some pickled veggies for us. He's such a wife. He's my wife. He really is. I returned to my apartment. When I left, the TV was on, but the familiar static drone was gone. Instead, I could hear a faint rustling sound.
おうとわ
Oh, hey, you're back.
あ
Yep. Welcome home. I was just tidying up in here. Who? Why? I don't know if you guys can hear that buzzing. I just keep getting so many scabs. People are just keep requesting. They're like, hello, may please scab you? Because I am too kawaii. I am flattered though. It feels the bane of my wallet. Oh yeah, same. I need to like really like hold myself back. If I put it off for too long, the whole place turns into a pigsty.
なあ、
Seeing as you're here, why don't you help me out a bit? Okay.
ポジティブに。わかった。
Sure thing. It's not often you actually do as you're told. Sometimes I feel like it.
へえ。
Alright, then thanks in advance. We're being a good boy.
よし。
There, now it's a bit cleaner. Here's your reward for helping. He pulled a pack of green gum from his pocket. Mint flavor, apparently. Got it from a patient, but since you still smoke, you probably need it more than I do, yeah?
別に。
I prefer the taste of tobacco. $10K yen area? Yeah, no. Oh, I feel that so much. Mine are usually like between... Mine are usually in the 70s to 120 yen, and I'm just like... don't be like that. Just take it. He pressed it into my hand, and I reluctantly accepted it. Of course, I give it about a week before you turn this place into a mess again. Me with my room. If you could make it every 2 weeks instead, I'd appreciate it.
それじゃあな。
Anyway, I'm out of here. Alright. Like I said, man, sometimes I am Toa. I'm just a little too similar to Toa. Alright, well, there's really not much to do, so... He's gone now. I thought there was a way to, like, go home. Oh, I'm going to Tajima's. Whoops. This is how you end the exploration. So we went everywhere. Is that lighter click sound from the game? Yeah, usually. Sometimes it's me, but yeah, that was from the game. On one corner of the residential neighborhood sat a little old shop forgotten by time. It was a snack store called Tajima's, run for many years by a little old octogenarian lady. In most cases, the expanding casino industry forced evictions on older homes and stores. But Tajima's fought eviction every step of the way, and now it was the last of its kind in the area. Fortunately, Tajima's was popular with middle-aged folks looking for a nostalgic taste of their youth, plus it attracted younger people curious about traditional snacks. Every now and then I'd stop by and grab some. I wasn't a big fan of junk food or anything, but for some reason the shop felt like home. I walked up, stood at the door, and peered inside. The cramped interior was packed to the gills with sweets and snacks of every kind. Hidden among them was a white-haired, stony-faced woman standing as still as a statue.
いらっしゃい。
Grandma! She sounded irritable. Reluctantly, I stepped inside. But though she looked angry, she was always like that. Hanging on the wall above the clutter was a painting with a layer of black over it. I kept wondering about it every time I came by. It was the one thing that didn't feel homey like the rest of the store. Maybe the owner just liked spooky stuff.
買うのかい買わないのかい
She snapped at me and I stood there without browsing. That's what I was... Oh, no, I'm not playing with the lighter. Her smoke was a deep dark brown. Not once had I ever seen it waver. I grabbed some stuff at random and brought it to the counter.
まったくこの町は日に日に変わっていってるよ。いつか本当に滅びてなくなっちまうんじゃないかとヒヤヒヤしてるんだよ私は。
She angry. She muttered to herself as she pecked away on her antique cash register. This old woman was one of the few who had lived here since before Shinkomi became a casino resort. and she knew what it used to be like. She would always blather on, regardless of whether anyone was listening, but some people found value in her stories of the old days.
昔はここまで汚らしい町じゃなかったのにね。それこそ純朴そうな小娘の面倒を見てやったりもしたのに、今は男も女もアバズレで溢れ返ってるよ。
Yeah, I guess the only old woman we get is, we get this old lady, we get grandma.
あんただってその一人なんだよ。
They do that. They do like putting in ugly women and old women into their yaoi games. Can't have a beautiful woman, because obviously that's a no-go. You can't remind people that there's straightness in the world. I nodded absently. Truth be told, I liked her. She just called me a slut. She said, there's a lot of sluts roaming around outside. You're fucking one of them. And I went, yep. I nodded absently. Truth be told, I liked her. Is she wrong? Absolutely not. Felt like she was the only person still living in the old times while the world had changed around her. Because of that, she was an outsider here.
毎日毎日誰が殺した殺されたで死体を見ても何とも思わなくなっちまってるんだ。ヤクザの言うこと聞くくらいなら私はこの店を守って死ぬよ。240円だ。
Hell yeah, Granny. I pulled a 1,000 yen bill out of my pants pocket and handed it to
釣り
her.
を取っといて。
いいのかい？
ああ、
Yeah, we love Granny.
毎度どうも。
She took the money without complaint. She handed me my items without a bag, and for the first time, I stopped to look at what I bought. Then I stuffed it all into my coat pockets and headed for the door. As I stepped outside, however, I realized the old lady had followed me out.
また来とくれよ。
Yeah, she called me a whore, and then I said, take my money, and let's be friends. And she went, okay, you're not that bad. You might be a whore, but at least you're nice. She literally said, sorry for calling you a whore. In an old person speak, because this is what old people do. They don't say sorry, they tell you, they express interest in you. That's how they say they're sorry. And so she's like, okay, sorry I called you a whore. She muttered under her breath with a scowl. I waved, then turned and set off down the street. Late that night, Taku, Ray, and I paid a visit to the local diner. Taku had promised to buy Ray a parfait, and tonight it was time for him to pony up. That said, the three of us usually ended up at this diner anyway, since it was still open when the clinic closed. Oh, we get yummy food shots. That's the other thing that Yaoi is really good at. They're good at drawing dicks and food. I was downtown at the time, so they invited me over the phone. When we sat down at our table, Taku ordered the Salisbury steak special. Ray got the steak fried rice and a parfait, and I got a coffee. While they ate their food, I slowly sipped my drink. This was pretty commonplace for me. And yet, every time it happened, like clockwork, Ray would tell me how it's not healthy and it's going to kill you one of these days. Sure enough, I could hear him grumbling about something, but the moment they put his parfait down on the table, his whole face lit up. The boys.
ここのストロベリーミルクパフェ本当に美味しい。
He's a cutie. He squeezed his eyes shut and squealed in delight.
毎度毎度そんなに喜んでもらえたら作った人も作りがいがあるってもんだな。
Taku sipped his post-dinner coffee with a wry grin. He wasn't a big fan of sugary stuff, so he couldn't really relate.
毎度毎度喜ぶからもっとたくさん美味しいスイーツ作ってって感じ。
Ray stirred his parfait with a spoon, a dreamy smile on his face. This only lasted until I put a cigarette between my lips and started to light it. For Toa!
ちょっとまだ食べてるんですけど。
Shit, sorry.
うんじゃないわよ。
He's like, yep, you're eating.
喫煙席だろ、ここ。
マナーってものがあるでしょ。タクだってもうやめたんだし、あんたもいい加減やめなさいよ
It's
ね。
okay, they're in the smoking section.
吸ってた俺が言うのもなんだが、タバコは100害あって一理なしだぞ。
I ignored their complaints, lit my cigarette, and took a drag. Okay, well now we'll do it again for Toa. For Toa. For Toa. Although I don't smoke tobacco. Instantly, Ray's smoke went from yellow to red, mingling with the cigarette smoke.
本当にもうトワは酒とタバコばっかり。あんなにいい絵を描くのに実態なんてこんなものよね。
Oh no, my wife is angry at me. Ray let out an exaggerated sigh. Sulking, he put his elbow on the table and his chin in his hand.
歴史上の有名な画家も変人が多いからな。ある中から異常な女好きまで様々だ。
Yeah.
どこかしら変わってるから芸術面では突出してるってこともあるんだろう。
This is why I don't do art. I refuse to show my true weirdness to the world.
なのかしらね。でもそばにいたらすごい嫌よ。迷惑よ。今身をもって体感してるわ。
Well, yeah, bro. Artists famously are hated by like everyone in their lives because they push them away because they're angry at life.
トワに関してはもう諦めろ。昔からこういうやつだ。
It was the harsh truth.
その割には可愛い趣味があるのよね。
Stop. A devilish grin crept up on Ray's face.
趣味？
部屋にずっと置いてあるウサギのぬいぐるみを興味ないとか言うくせに捨てないじゃない。実は好きなんでしょ。
You make fun of my plushie, bro?
いや、
I did have a bunny plushie in my apartment, but I wasn't particularly attached to it. I just randomly spotted it at a store one time and I wanted to buy it, so I did. I hadn't really touched it or thought about it since, and now it sat collecting dust in the corner.
夜はこっそり抱いて寝てたりするんじゃないのか？
They're trying.
やだ、とあったらそんな可愛いところあるの？
As Taku teased me, Ray joined in. Ignoring their idiocy, I turned away and took another slow drag of my cigarette.
そういえば今日はデスマッチには行かないのか？
今日はお休み。チームメンバーの都合もあるからね。
Just a fun little word there. Deathmatch arena, casually dropped. Don't worry, it gets explained. The deathmatch area was a special section of the town located in District A at the center of Shinkomi. It was once ground zero for a lot of Takasatogumi infighting. As a result, the whole district was torn apart and residents were barred entry. Sounds like a fight club? Bro, it's literally a fight club. Naturally, this attracted a lot of seedy types. Eventually, it became known as a place for fistfights, and people started using it as a battlefield to test their strength. Nowadays, anyone who wanted to fight could meet up in District A to take part in what was now referred to as a death match. Of course, the Takasatogumi had noticed this, but they chose not to interfere. Here in Shinkomi, plenty of people were frustrated with the tyranny of the Takasatogumi, not to mention the struggles of living in poverty. So the Takasatogumi let them have their death matches in District A if it meant they could vent their stress. Their one restriction, they would hassle anyone who tried to live there or start a business there. Other than that, the Takasatogumi didn't get involved. Believe it or not, taking part in death matches was something of a hobby for Ray. He always went with his buddies from Roost. Supposedly, they were actually among the top contenders, but death matches weren't my thing, so I didn't know if that was true. Judging from their looks, you wouldn't think they were seasoned fighters, except for the rare occasions they turned up with sporting cuts and bruises.
楽しんでやってるなら構わんが、あんまり羽目を外すなよ。最近じゃデスマッチも昔より悪質な奴らがうろついてるらしいじゃないか。
まあね。でもそういう奴らもまとめて吹っ飛ばすのが楽しいのよ。スカッとするわ。
He's got a hidden dark side.
そうか。ま、しばらくは高里組も荒れるだろうから、お前たちも気をつけろよ。上の連中はともかく、チンピラどもがトラブルを起こすかもしれん。
そうなったら 拳で鎮圧しちゃうから大丈夫。
大丈夫. To prove his point, Ray flashed up his fists. Taku grinned wearily. Wearily?
拳を振るうのはデスマッチだけにしとけよ。
Yeah, they're dogging on me for smoking, but they go and punch people to death. Oh, Ray.
もちろん。パフェおごってもらったし、言うこと聞きます。美味しかった。ありがとう。大満足。
In a blink, Ray had polished off his parfait. He set down his spoon with a satisfied smile.
それじゃ、明日もあるし帰るか。
そうね、また明日。とは、ちゃんと寝なさいよ。このまま飲みに行ったり、男を引っ掛けに行ったりしちゃダメだからね。
No fair. Okay, I wanna say right there, by the way. So sometimes when like there's Japanese, I try to listen to it, and I like seeing what they say. So he says no bar hopping, no hookups, but like when they're translating the word hookups, they specifically use like oto no toko, which has something to do with guys. So basically, he didn't just say like no hookups. Ray basically was like, don't fuck any guys, like. It's pretty much what he actually said. He's like, don't get drunk, don't fuck dudes. You got me, bro? Yeah. With a non-committal response, oh my god, I got another appeal. I'm sorry, I just need to look at them because I want to see cute artists. I love cute artists. Distracted by cute artists. So cute. Sorry. That yeah was more like a yeah though. Ray, are you homophobic? No, Ray has many homes. Trust me. Ray's very home. With a non-committal response, I crushed my cigarette in the ashtray. Taco rose to his feet, grabbed the check, and took it over to the register.
ごちそうさま。
Ugh, I'm all itchy. My allergies are so bad. Right as Ray got up, he suddenly turned back to me.
あら、そういえばあんたもおごりなの？
コーヒーしか飲んでないからな。
Whenever we went out to eat, Taku would always pay for my order, probably because it was only one extra drink. Ray donned a melodramatic frown and glanced at me out of the corner of his eye.
なんかあんたって周りから妙に甘やかされてるわよね。フラフラしてて危なっかしいからかしら。野良猫みたいな感じ？
It is a little true. Everyone is like, so the way that people deal with Toa is very interesting, and I kind of understand because like, so if you're someone that like has a family that you kind of get invited to things but you don't really like do anything, or like you're just kind of around because someone else remembers to invite you sort of thing, like you wind up like kind of feeling like you just kind of showed up, like you're not really supposed to be there, and like people are kind of just keeping you around, you know? And like that's kind of like the vibes of Toa. Is he's kind of just like, you know what, I'm just kind of around, like that just is Toa. Toa's like, yep, I'm around because you feed me and you give me a home. If you kicked me out, you probably wouldn't see me again. And I'm like, that's a mood.
さあな。
So he's a cat. That's why I'm the main character. I shrugged, and together we headed for the exit. Oh, someone hasn't gotten a screenshot of me in my Fujo jail. Can someone please do that? Oh, I see. You guys got a picture of Toa in Fujo jail. Can you get one of me too? Limbo might have fallen asleep though already. Oh, my nose is still itchy. The next day. Thank you. Now we got a picture of me in Fujo jail. Having a good morning? Yeah, I am. I'm yowing it up. I wasn't scheduled to work at the clinic, so I woke up around noon. Taku came up to my room on his break and invited me out to lunch. Ray wasn't scheduled to work until later in the afternoon, so he wasn't around yet. I got dressed, then accompanied Taku out of the building. So that's the other thing. If someone's like, I'll pay for your food, I'll take you out to lunch, I'll be like, yeah, okay, I'll leave my house. You know?
お待たせしました。
Ready for more food porn, guys? Why am I in jail? Because I'm a Fujo. I'm a dirty Fujo. The murderer set down 2 mugs of coffee, followed by 2 plates of their famous honey toast. Are you guys fucking ready for this? You guys ready for this? Once everything was back on the table, he bowed quietly and headed back into the kitchen. Okay, warning, 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 warning. We're about to see something so... In these parts, Yanagawa Cafe was a popular lunch spot. The place first opened over 20 years ago, and the building's retro style offered its own special charm. It was about a 5-minute walk from the Motosei Clinic, so I often found myself here. It all started when I was walking by one day and saw the dimly lit interior through the front windows. It caught my interest, so I went in, and the rest is history. The cafe always played jazz music over the speakers, and the customers were relaxed. Their prices were relatively high, but seeing as they were still in business, they clearly had still enough regular customers to keep them afloat. Look at that shit. Yeah, man, good thing it's December. Good thing it's December, guys. It's okay. It's December now. You didn't lose. It's December. Can you show this on YouTube? I don't know, man. I don't know. Can you show this on YouTube? Guys, see, I knew I needed that censorship screen. Honey toast. I want it. I don't know what it is, but I want it.
さ、食べるか。いただきます。
Dragon Guard 3 meme image. Oh, can someone send that in the Discord so I can actually have that, please? I want the Dragon Guard "We'll be right back" meme image where they're all little, where his wife made all the drawings of the guys. Fun fact for those of you that have played Nier, if you didn't know, all the little chibis that are in Dragon Guard 3, they're just like the little heads with like legs. Those were drawn by someone's wife, the director's wife or something. All right, let's eat. I know it wasn't Yoko Taro's wife because I don't think Yoko Taro's married. It was someone's wife. All right, let's eat. Yippee! He pressed his hands together to say grace, then picked up his knife and fork and started cutting up his toast. I crushed my lit cigarette in the ashtray and took a sip of my coffee.
ここのは本当にうまいよな。
Thank you. Thank you. This content has been deemed inappropriate for pretty much everyone. Well, that's a little intense, but you know, we'll go with it. Bam, there it is. We have that there just in case. Things get a little spicy.
甘いの苦手でもこの店のは平気なんだ
Oh,
ろ
I forgot I just had that Yubi just up there, frickin' like just dead. I guess I can put him back down here now.
Oh, この蜂蜜の自然な甘さとパンの焼き加減がガキの頃によく食べたパンケーキに似ててな。ってお前こそ
pancakes.
普段はほとんど食べないくせ
I
に
wanna make waffles
ここの
right
ハニートースト
now.
は食べるよな。
I want waffles right now, but I think I need like heavy whipping cream or something. You need like buttermilk. I only have milk.
ま、なんとなく。
なんだそりゃ。
Yeah, see, even Toa eats the fucking honey toast, man. Haven't had waffles in so long. Oh my god. Guys, I really want to make some freaking. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go to the store. I'm gonna get red velvet cake, and I'm gonna make chocolate. I'm gonna make red velvet chocolate, strawberry marshmallow, fucking waffles. And I blink, he had somehow already eaten half of the damn thing. Only then did I finally start picking up my own knife and fork and start eating.
でさ、もうすっごいやつがいたらしくてさ。
Oh yeah, we have off-brand Prompto. Oops, I killed the newbie instead of myself. Bink. We got off-brand Prompto. We got gay Prompto. We got Prompto in a different universe. Ah yes, slow damage. Ah yes, wink wonk. I'm gonna save real quick before I forget again. We got Prompto at home.
なんだよ、すっごいって。
Oh yeah, no, this is, and then we got off-brand Noctis too. See, like it's just they knew what they were doing. This Yaoi game is making you hungry. Me too. As we were busy eating, the conversation from the table next to us carried over, filling the silence.
すごいっつったらすごいんだよ。強いんだって。すごい強かったらしいんだよ。
You're lurking on the GEX? Well, unfortunately, there has been no GEX so far. It's been 2 hours and no GEX.
そりゃ、高里組ってデスマッチの参加者で強いやつを引っ張ってきてるんでしょ。強くて当然だろう。
Like I said, guys, there's actually a plot. Like, do you all believe me now that there's plot to this yaoi? For a fraction of a second, Taku fell still.
いや、もっとだよ。もっと強えの。
もっと？
真顔で何人も殴って沈めてくくらいの、そういうマジでヤバいやつだったらしくて、どうも組を裏切ったらしいんだよ。
Man, the Yubi is blocking stuff. Okay, Yubi, you get to be back here. I sit on you. Happy? Yeah, we have plots. I know, right? There's an actual plot. It's not uncommon for porn games to have actual plot, though. Yeah, but it's uncommon for yaoi not to just be like penis, penis, penis. Here it is right now. I mean, even DramaticalMurder was quick to the gay.
マジで？
そう。で、兄貴を殺して逃げたって。
Like Alba straight up gets like kissed by noise in the first scene. Like, DramaticalMurder goes, hello. First you get a phone call of Alba getting flirted with, and then you get him getting lip-locked. And him being called a skinny twink. And then you look at his little waist and you go, damn. And that's how DramaticalMurder starts.
兄貴？兄ちゃんってこと？
ちげえよ。あれだよ、ほら、杯がうんたらかんたらってそういう兄貴。
The TTD? Okay, the TTD, if you're a streamer, is about 14 hours.
なあ、そういう兄貴。でもさ、それってすごい不義理ってやつじゃね？
I know that from
やばいんじゃねえの？
I know that from personal experience. It takes about 14 hours. If you're doing what I'm doing, which is reading and then talking a little bit and pausing the game, it takes about 14 hours.
やばいよ。だから組のやつらに制裁されて、もうこの世にいないって話だけどな。
And that's for side story dick, not even main plot dick. I'm talking like early ending side character dick, dude. It's crazy. Actual TTD is literally like 20 hours. There's speedrun strats to TTD. There are. There are actually. It's how you click the correct options to get them to love you.
制裁。
Okay, I don't care about these guys talking about the Takasato Tagumi. Blah, blah, blah. Taku finished eating his honey toast in silence, but his expression looked stiff, probably due to the subject matter. In this town, you couldn't walk 2 steps without hearing someone gossiping about the Takasato Tagumi. Some of it was true, a lot of it wasn't. The yaoi scholar, I prefer scientist. Although it is true, it is scholarly to be scientist? But like a game of telephone, a lot of details got lost along the way, so only a small fraction knew the facts. The guys next to us were just recounting stuff they'd heard from elsewhere. Almost every rumor was tarnished with embellishments, born of speculation or assumption, and this one was no different. It wasn't easy to discover the unvarnished truth buried underneath. For example, I would never know the real Taku, and he would never know the real me. Just because we'd known each other for years didn't mean we understood everything about each other. Then the subject changed to something else, and a few minutes later the 2 guys left to pay their bill. Once they were gone, Taku finally broke his bitter
大人
silence.
気だな、高里組は。
I ate my cold toast without responding. As it happened, I knew the guy they were gossiping about. A lot about him, in fact. Believe it or not, the fight happened while I was still in the gang. But I didn't want to remember him, so I actively avoided thinking about his name or his face.
他に話したくなるような楽しいことがないんだろ。
I shrugged and Taku nodded slightly, still grimacing.
そうかもな。
Meanwhile, unpleasant memories rose to my mind. I first joined the Takasato Gumi back when my mother died. When I was in middle school, she died in an accident. Then a Yakuza named Sakaki came and told me that she was his gang leader's mistress. There, I learned that his name was Takasato Ryujiro, and he was my father. As a kid, I only knew Sakaki as a good friend of my mother's. I never knew he was in a gang. After her death, he tried his best to look out for me. Then one thing led to another, and I joined the Takasato Gumi. No real reason. He invited me to join, so I figured I would. To him, my mother was a dear friend, and he would always reminisce about her. Because of that, he didn't feel like some Yakuza thug. He felt like family. As for my actual family, I couldn't remember much of them or anything that happened prior to my mother's death. I vaguely recalled that I had a little sister, but I couldn't remember what she looked like. At the same time of my mother's accident, I was injured and sent to the hospital. Maybe that had something to do with it. Mystery backstory of the boy. I stroked the eye patch over my right eye. There was no point in looking back. It was all in the past. Even without my childhood memories, I was still right here, living and breathing. I looked down at the table. Taku would have stabbed his fork into my cold, half-eaten honey toast. Then, without batting an eye, he dragged it over to his own plate.
食べるのか？
お前どうせ残すだろ。
He made it sound like he was entitled to eat my leftovers. He had a point, though. I wasn't planning to eat the rest, but still. I laid my knife and fork to rest. Then I lit a cigarette, took the longest possible drag, and blew it all back at him. For Toa!
おいやめろ。せっかく禁煙成功したってのに。
Sorry, buddy. Grimacing, Taku waved a hand in front of his face.
本当に成功したかどうか試してるんだよ。
Damn, kinda rude though, Toa.
今やるな今。食事中だぞ。
I fixed him with an impish grin. Scowling, he went back to the rest of my honey toast. As he wolfed down a few more bites, I smirked at
なん
him.
だ。
よく食うなと思って。
お前が小食すぎるんだよ。
He wiped his mouth roughly with a napkin and rose from the table. I loved the just casual flirting.
ほら、行くぞ。
He grabbed the check and headed over to the register to pay. I crushed my cigarette in the ashtray, then followed after him. Very subtle, casual flirting. After we left the cafe and I parted ways with Taku, I wandered around town for a while. Then once the sun set, I headed to the park. The place was deserted on a winter night, and the white glow of the street lamps made it look even more desolate. I sat down on a chilly metal bench and lit another cigarette. Alright, here we go. Why are there jail bars? Because I'm in Fujo jail. Did you miss hotbed kissing? They haven't even freaking started. I wasn't ready to go home yet, so I was trying to kill time. As I watched the pale smoke float up into the dark sky, I heard a commotion in the distance. Several pairs of footsteps were approaching, and when they passed under a street lamp, I recognized them instantly.
ほら、
Yes!
やっぱりトワだ。
Ugh.
おお、本当だ。
トワさん。
So, I have a really, really specific freaking type. Yeah. It wouldn't happen to be Slutty Ben. It's the one in the middle. His name is Kotaro. So, if you guys were present for the last slow damage conversation where I mentioned donkey punching,
お前、よく見えるよな。真っ暗なのにあんな遠くから。
目めっちゃいいの俺。超
So-
くっきりはっきり見えるよ。
welcome to the fabulous trio. We have donkey punch, cosplay sex, and an actual genuine asexual.
アニメばっか見てるのに、謎だよその視力。
むしろアニメで鍛えられてるのよ。
Yeah. Anime trains the eyes.
つうかとは、何やったんだこんなとこで。
Your mom. Tan, muscular Kotaro bent over to get a good look at my face. You could say he had a wild side, or a short temper, depending on how you looked at it.
ぼんやりしちゃって。よからぬ妄想。でもしてた？
Maya cackled around the lollipop in his mouth. He was the tallest and leanest of the three, and he dressed like he found his clothes in the dumpster.
ケーキ漬けに一発爆弾でもどうですか？目覚めますよ。
AG! He's asexual and he likes to blow things up. Yeah, no, actual ace rep, like for real, for real. The guy in the beanie was AG. He was an expert at information gathering and bomb assembly. Using the power of social media, he had a vast information network that he used to collect all kinds of intel. I slept with Kotaro and Mayu a couple of times out of boredom, but never with AG. He told me he wasn't really into sex stuff. Kotaro's smoke was red, Mayu's was fuchsia, and AG's was a blue-green color.
別に一服してただけ。
Yeah, these are my sex buddies. These are my sex buddies, and then the ace friend.
暇ってことが。なら、デスマッチエリアに行かねえか？
This is so bad for me. This is so good for you. What are you talking about? It's only... Wait, do you guys want me to drop the link in chat? Because I will. I'm going to drop the link in chat. I'm just letting you know right now that you can get it for... Oh my god, DramaticalMurder is on sale. Oh my god, guys, DramaticalMurder is on sale for $15 right now? What? Oh my god, Slow Damage is on sale for $17.49 right now instead of $25. Guys, you gotta cop it. Black Friday. Cop the link. Support. Is there room in that cell for one more? Yeah. There's plenty of room in my clown cell. Nice tattoos? Yes, agreed. Have I played Love in Deep Space? I actually haven't. I've considered it though. Yeah, it's saving money. No! The Google moderator team deleted my fucking Yowie link. Yo! Google! I literally just got like slapped on the wrist. Okay, I'm gonna put it in the Discord. What the hell, Neil? Neil said no, yaoi. Otoboku? I have not, and that scared. I'm scared. Yeah, we got filtered by Normie Google. With a grin, Kotaro straightened up and jerked his chin in the direction of District A.
面倒だからパス。
Pass.
言うと思ったとは絶対言うと思ったよ
暇ならいいだろう。付き合えよ。元兄弟のよしみでよ。
お前と杯を交わした覚えはないな。
Kotaru, Meiyu, and Eiji were all former guns for hire that got recruited to the Takasato Gumi. Kotaru and Meiyu were scouted via death matches, and they proved their fighting skills. As for Eiji, supposedly he got invited to join after he hacked the social media accounts and websites for one of the Takasato Gumi's bignesses. Main character is a femboy who was first to cross-dress into an all-girl school to his grandfather's... Oh my god, I do know what that is. I have heard of that. Of course, they were by no means the only people recruited this way. In fact, I'd heard people taking part in death matches specifically to try to get in with the gang.
杯って言えばよ。とは、親父の葬式に来なかっただろ。
Kotaro smirked.
行くわけない。
Yeah, man, like... Fuck that guy.
今日の昼に葬式があって昨日は通夜だったんだよ。
Nice, I guess.
全然興味なしって感じですね。
They made that into an H tie? That might be why I know about it. I sincerely didn't. What did it matter to me if some total stranger kicked the bucket?
いや、それよりデスマッチエリアだ。行こうぜ。
行ってみたら意外と楽しいかもよ。
ないな。
もういっそのこと全部爆弾で吹き飛ばすっていうのはどうです？そしたら一瞬でみんな楽しくなりますよ。
No bombs, AG.
何がだバカ。
Kotaro snorted and flicked AG's
ご
forehead.
たくはいいから行こうぜとは。ほら、立てよ。
He grabbed my arm and hauled me up against my will. Once he had his mind set on something, it was impossible to get him to change it. He kept a firm hold on me as we walked, like he was worried I was gonna bolt.
俺らは上からデスマッチに参加するなって言われてっからよ。が、お前は好きなだけ参加できるじゃねえか。羨ましいな、おい。
借金の取り立てで普段から好きなだけボコボコ殴ってるだろ。
それはお仕事だし、返さないアホが悪いね。
でもいつも楽しそうに追いかけ回してるじゃないですか、お二人とも。僕も怖くって怖くって。
I love AG.
嘘つけ。借金野郎の弱みやら個人情報やらかき集めるのお前の仕事だろうが。
はい、それはもちろん。新興味の情報なら任せてください。あと爆弾も。
AG is an ally. AG donned a big cheesy smile and Kotaro scoffed. Here in Shinkomi, as the poverty gap widened, many were burdened with large debts. Any debtor unable to make payouts was mercilessly hounded by Takasato goons. Thank you. And if that debt reached a certain size, the debtor would get a chip known as a web tag implanted in them. Web tagged debtors were then tracked via surveillance towers erected all over Shinkomi. They were forbidden to set foot outside the city until their debt was repaid. If they tried to leave, the Takasato Gumi would send pursuers to hunt them down and kill them, no questions asked. You might wonder how the gang got their money back if the debtor was dead, but corpses had plenty of monetary value.
ねえ、行くなら早く行こう。帰って録画しといたアニメ見たいんだよ。
He just wants to go home and watch his anime. Mei was already looking like he'd lost interest in the conversation.
うるせえな、このアニメ男。
っていうか、あのスズメ、ポップコーン頬張りすぎね。欲張りすぎだよ。破裂しそう。
fucking what, bro?
あ？どこだよ。見えないっつうの。お前の異常な視力で見えるもんは
He's like
普通の人間には見えねえんだよ。
ADHD up in the house.
みんなも俺みたいにアニメ見ればいいのよ。アニメ見ようよ。
Anime.
見ねえよ。
か。
Trapped in Kotoro's tight grip and stuck in the middle of their inane banner, I left the park behind. Boom, boom. District A, also known as the deathmatch area, was forbidden to the average citizen. Not that they'd want to visit. Because no normal people ever came around. Nearly all the shops had closed their doors for good. The deeper you traveled into the district, the rougher and dirtier the city became. The place was busiest at night. By some unspoken rule, that was when everybody showed up. As the four of us walked to the heart of the District A, the sounds of scuffling and jeering grew louder.
おーおー、今日も派手にやったんだ。
Kotaro grinned. Here, unlike anywhere else, the air smelled of dust and copper. And unlike anywhere else, everyone's smoke was full of chaotic energy. The countless colors shifted and blurred together like an aurora of reject crayons.
平和平和。この間の見せしめが効いたね。
見せしめ？ああ、銃ぶっ放しまくってたやつか。まあ、吊るしといたからな。
Damn, they strung him up.
銃は使用禁止になったのか？
AG shook his head in response to my question.
いえ、使用禁止という明確なルールは作ってません。相変わらず暗黙の了解状態ですよ。そのせいか、負けたことが悔しくてどうしても勝ちたい、復讐したいって新参者が銃を持ち込むことも増え
Man,
て
we
きてるんで
hate
すけどね。
those sore losers, bringing them guns to fist fights. Come on. Technically, deathmatch rules permitted the use of weapons. However, weapons gave the armed fighters a huge advantage over the unarmed, so there was an implicit agreement among the participants not to bring any. Nevertheless, as AG said, some came armed regardless. These types were seen as cowards, and they were sometimes lynched as a warning to others.
この間吊るしたやつはリンチを止めに入った俺らにも銃を向けてきたからよ。そりゃぶん殴るよな。そうじゃなくても銃や武器が絡むと試合じゃなくて戦争が始まっちまう。
そういうアホを見つけたらボコって持ち込んだ武器と一緒に吊るしとくとね、それなりの効果があるんだよね。
Yup.
もしデスマッチが戦争になったら、その矛先は必ず高里組に向きます。それじゃ新興味がめちゃくちゃになっちゃいますから。どんなに混沌としているように見えてもバランスは大事ですからね。
みんなが平和に暮らすためってとこか。
As I listened, I thought to myself, what does peace even look like here in Shinkomi? Once you fell into the depths of hell, you wouldn't be climbing back out again. No, you'd have to make your peace down here. And our little rock-bottom society played its own rules. It was merely a cog in the machine. But believe it or not, I kind of liked it down here. Nothing worth caring about, nothing that could tie me down. In that sense, yeah, maybe it was peaceful. A nearby ring of onlookers started to cheer, and I looked over. A rainbow of smoke blurred together, flailing wildly. But I watched it all with cold indifference. Like, just the world of this game is definitely very captivating if you're someone that just really likes that, you know, just dark, grim, dystopian kind of vibe. And, like, yeah, there's some gay sex involved, but, like, you know, sometimes, who's not to say that in the year 2050, most people won't be really fucking gay. I mean, if you really think about it. If anything, this isn't really, like, a gay game. Like, anyone can fuck anyone. So, yeah. After I left the deathmatch area, I was sitting in some random bar getting drunk when my phone buzzed. In truth, really, like, you know how they lynched everyone that had the guns? They just lynched everyone that was straight and bigoted. They were like, oh, you're not going to be nice and straight? Get lynched. They were like, let me live my life gay or die. That's the future. There was a new message in the group chat between me, Ray, and Taku. Got a call about a critical patient. Come over ASAP. Oh no, critical patient. As it happened, I was thinking of going home away. Anyway, cigarette between my lips, I paid my tab and walked out. Gay wrath took over gay pride. Honestly, that should be the celebration this upcoming summer. Not gay pride, gay wrath. I will be hosting gay wrath, okay? No femboy enough. Unfortunately, there really aren't any femboys in this game. There are side character femboys, but no real femboys. Toa's kind of the closest you get to a femboy. You've been lurking and gay wrath sounds powerful. You're in? Good. You're okay with the bomb twink? Yeah, like he's twinky enough. We just don't fuck him. They said you want a twink? He's asexual. A few minutes after I arrived at the clinic, Ray showed up. The patient was gravely injured, but this was no ordinary patient. A group of men, possibly the guy's buddies, carried him in through the back entrance. His shirt was stained red with blood. All of them were wearing flashy clothes with lots of accessories. These weren't innocent civilians. These were Yakuza. Most of the many facilities in Shikomi claimed to refuse service to gang members. In reality, a lot of them accepted those same patients behind closed doors, and this clinic was one of them. We were so often visited by Yakuza, you'd think Taku was one of them. Word on the street was he'd earned the Takasato Gumi's trust. Sometimes he would suddenly close the clinic or change office hours just to accommodate these special patients. Out of respect for his civilian patients, he made the gang bring their wounded in through the back, but it was an open secret at this point. This didn't scare off any of his regular patients, however. Doctors as good as Taku were hard to find. Besides, the residents of Shinkomi accepted that things came with the these things came with the territory of living here.
服を脱がせますね。
With permission, Ray began to remove the patient's shirt as they laid him on the exam table. The man was sweating bullets, gritting his teeth to endure the pain. Stripping him revealed a stab wound in his side, covered in blood.
出血がひどいが、傷はそれほど深くなさそうだ。
Frowning, Taku examined the cut, then started patching him up. Ray and I assisted him as needed, following orders as he gave them.
よし。
After he finished administering first aid, Taku let out a long sigh. The patient had regained a lot of color in his complexion compared to when he first arrived, and he seemed calmer now.
痛みはどうですか？もし辛いようなら休んでいった方が。いや、いい。
Grunting, the man tried to push himself into a sitting position. Taku held out a hand to stop him.
急に動かない方がいいですよ。
手当てが終わったら戻ってこいって上に言われてるんでね。
Ignoring Taku's request, the man sat himself up regardless. Then, clutching his bandaged side, he slowly hopped down off the exam table.
世話になった。すまねえ。
Yeah, you don't mess with the doctor, man. You never mess with the doctor. Taku didn't bother trying to stop him. He knew precisely what kind of world this man lived in. The man snatched up his neatly folded shirt and started walking, pressing his hand against the wall for support. He left accompanied by his associates.
見送ってくるわ。
Ray hurried after them. They would be leaving through the back the same way they came in. The man's medical expenses would be billed to the Takasato Gumi directly. As Taku and I tidied up the medical equipment, Ray came back into the exam room and let out a giant sigh.
はあ、ほんと嫌になっちゃう。
仕方がない。無理に引き止めることもできないからな。
もちろん分かってはいるんだけどね。あんな状態で返すのって本人の意思だから仕方がないんだけど。
患者が望まないのであれば俺たちができることは何もない。
うん、そう。 そうなのよね。
Ray nodded to himself sadly, his eyes on the floor. This sort of thing didn't happen every single day, but it was still fairly frequent. Judging from his stab wound, the patient probably got embroiled in some sort of fight. But Yakuza weren't the only ones who would worry about physical danger. Everywhere you looked, this city was dripping with death and violence, the product of pent-up rage that no one knew how to allay. By this point, the line between Yakuza and civilian had blurred beyond recognition.
あとはもう大丈夫かしら。
ああ、来てくれて助かったよ。急に呼び出してすまなかったな。
いいのよ、気にしないで。
あと、明日の炊き出し、よろしくな。
はーい。
Soup kitchen!
炊き出し
I've been in a soup kitchen before, they're fun. The unusual phrase gave me a pause, but Taku rolled his eyes.
先週から言ってただろう。忘れたのか？路上生活者や仕事が見つからない人たちを支援するボランティアのイベントだよ。
Yeah. Come to think of it, I vaguely remember that conversation. Stuff I didn't care about generally wasn't a priority to me.
よろしく頼むな。あとは俺がやるから帰っていいぞ。
At his prompting, Ray and I left the room.
あ、とは。
Right as I was about to head up to my apartment, Ray stopped me.
最近絵の方はどうなの？誰かいいモデルは見つかった？
いや、今のところは。
I shook my head. Ray was referring to my article on the fourth face, Rue's company blog recruiting potential art models. Outside of being an all-around degenerate, art was my sole hobby, specifically oil painting. Bro, felt. Ray liked my work a lot. When he showed his boss at Roost, the guy decided he wanted to display all my new pieces in his establishment. That said, I could paint a thing without a model. And not just any model. One who met my specific requirements. The manager of Roost liked to appraise and collect paintings as a hobby, and he wrote about all sorts of artists on the company blog. That was a long run-on sentence. Oh my gosh. And he wrote about all sorts of artists on the company blog, both professional and amateur. He also invited artists to send in photos of their submissions, which he would post on the site. And if he really liked a piece, he would display it at the bar. Periodically, articles would go up seeking models for my work. My artist's alias was Euphoria, chosen for me by Ray. I didn't care too much, but apparently Euphoria had a unique style that attracted a considerable cult following. So whenever my model request went up, I'd always get a handful of responses. It was more of a steady trickle than a torrent, so I only checked my inbox whenever I felt like it. It didn't matter how interested the model was. If I wasn't interested in them, I couldn't paint them. And lately, I wasn't interested in any of the people who emailed me.
早く新作書いてよね。一ファンとして楽しみにしてるんだから。それじゃ、おやすみ。
おやすみ。レイちゃん。As for me, I took the elevator to the third floor and went into my apartment. Then I switched on the TV, flopped onto the sofa, and grabbed a half-finished bottle of booze off the floor. After the lukewarm alcohol flowed down my throat, I grabbed the pack of cigarettes on the coffee table and lit one. Like I said, if you literally did a challenge to drink and smoke as much as Toa, you would be so drunk and so messed up. Gazing up at the faint illumination of the flickering TV on the ceiling, I slowly exhaled the smoke. According to the clock on the wall, it was nearly 3 a.m. Dude, we're literally I'm literally Toa. But I still wasn't sleepy, so I took another drag of my cigarette. I contemplated popping some sleeping pills. Honestly, that might be me after the stream. We shall see. The next day, Taku shook me awake and dragged me out to help with the volunteer soup kitchen event. But even then, we still couldn't compete with the dozens upon dozens of people who had come to avail themselves of charity. Some of the volunteers look like gangsters or host club workers. Some had shown up out of sheer boredom. Some were genuinely trying to do some good, while others were just trying to improve their public image. Then Ray turned up, and the soup kitchen began. We ladled pork and veggie soup from a big pot into the little styrofoam containers and handed them to each person in line.
あら、村瀬先生、こんにちは。
どうも、こんにちは。
相変わらず素敵ね。
いえ、とんでもないです。
Bunch of old ladies. As the locals passed through the line, they all said hello to Taku.
村瀬先生、この間はありがとう。
池山さん、その後お孫さんの様子はいかがですか？
薬を飲んで寝たらすっかり良くなったみたいでな。先生のおかげだよ。
それはよかった。
The locals all deeply appreciated Taku's caring nature. They struck up conversations with him one after another.
あら、レイちゃんも手伝ってくれてるのね。
あ、はーい、お手伝いに来ました。
イケメンだから目の保養になるわね。
Hell yeah.
やだ、そこは美人って言ってくれないと。
Smiling Ray raised a limp wrist and the women all giggled in delight. He went more like beautiful, am I right, ladies? Fucking Ray. Like Taku, he had an affable personality that was popular with the locals.
とう、お前も来てたのか。
My boy toy gang! A familiar voice called out to me as I lazily helped with the soup distribution, and I looked up. There stood Kotaro, Mayu, and Eiji.
とは豚汁姿が様になってるね。
豚汁姿って何ですか？
知らないよ。
お前らも来るんだな、こういうイベント。
そりゃ上からの命令だし、しょうがないよね。
榊さん、意外とこういうの好きですからね、顔に似合わず。
榊さんの命令じゃ断れねえだろ。ってことで、飼い主待たせてるから行くわ。
Rolling his eyes, Kotaro stalked off, scratching his
おい
head.
じゃん、とは
I forget, what language is this? I think it's Thai that Mayu is speaking?
失礼します。
I might be completely wrong, though. Eiji bowed politely, then hurried after Kotaro with Mayu. No, Mayu is not the one who I mentioned. That is slightly a spoiler, so I'm not gonna actually tell you who it is. Shh. Spoiler for people who don't know. Eiji bowed politely, then hurried after Kotaro with Mayu.
最近
Yeah, it's not Korean. I think it's
こ
Thai.
ういうボランティアのイベントによく来るようになったわね。
It's either Thai or
やっぱり
Vietnamese.
イメージア
I
ッ
don't
プを
know.
狙ってるのかしら。
Wait, do Vietnamese people speak Thai? I'm very dumb. I'm American. The Takasata Gumi's been really getting involved with this kind of stuff lately. Maybe it's some kind of PR thing. Ray gazed after the three stooges as he stirred the soup pot.
榊が次期組長の座でも狙ってるんじゃないのか。
Vietnamese is a different language? Okay, it's different. French escorts? Okay. Because, like, I guess, okay, the reason why I'm confused is because sometimes I get confused. So, like, people are from Vietnam, they speak Vietnamese, and they are Vietnamese. Because, like, sometimes you can be, like, you speak French and you are French. But, like, I don't speak American, you know? I speak English, but I'm not referred to as English. But if you're from England, you are English and you speak English, you know. But now we just have English. We have British English and American English. Like, that's why I get confused all the time by things like that. Yeah. Like Japan, Japanese, and they are Japanese. Who's all the Z's? Is every other country in the world, is it only Americans that are like that? Wait a minute. Well, no, Australians, they speak English too. Is it literally just everything that ran from the British people? Because the Germans are from Germany and they speak German. Oh no. And the Egypts are from Egypt and they speak. Filipinos speak Tagalog. True. They call it Deutsch. True. They also don't call it German. I guess it also is like Americans also simplified everything. Because I guess in other like places they refer to their own language or their own people by different things too. So that's true. I guess it's just America-centric learning. Sigh, as usual. To me, it was a pretty casual topic, but Ray frowned awkwardly. He probably felt bad that my father died or something.
榊さん、次の組長でほぼ確定らしいわよ。あのメガネの透かしてる方。あっちは来てないのかしら。
Deutschland calls their language German Deutsch. Okay, that works. Am I saying that right, or am I totally fucking butchering it?
どうだろうな。俺は見てない。
Because I thought that was more proper to say it that way. I got it more or less. That works, I guess. Ray was referring to Tono Masumi, blech, the chief administrator of the Takasato Gumi. I fucking hate this guy so much. Sakaki and Tono were diametrically opposed in every way. As you might expect, they got along like oil and water. I looked in the direction of Kotoro had gone and saw a group of thuggish youths and guys in suits. All of them Takasato Gumi Yakuza, probably.
やっぱりライバル同士になるわけだから顔を合わせたくないのかしらね。
They're basically rivals at this
他に
point.
次期組長候補っていないの？
俺に聞かれてもな。
I gazed at the group of gangsters. The nearby civilians were all giving them a wide berth. The smoke that rose from the group was a swirl of muddy colors, but you didn't need to have special powers to know to avoid them. When I heard Taku calling for me and turned my attention back to the task at hand. Nihongo wakarimashita. Once the long line of people finally dwindled, I was mercifully cut loose. It was just past 2 p.m. I stood in the shade of a tree a short distance from the event space, taking a smoke break. Oh, here we go. Okay, here we go, Toa. You know what? I'll get some fresh za for Toa. We honor Toa. We honor Toa here tonight. But like, listen to this, like, oh my god, this music, like, you could just have this soundtrack, and you'd be fucking chilling, you know? But you guys see why it kind of reminds me of Persona, but like, really, really, really homosexual? Hello, welcome in. You can see that? Yeah. No battles though? Yeah, we just don't battle anyone. Well, I mean, technically we kind of do. We have, when we get to our interrogations, that's our battle. Interesting way to put it. Gay Sona? Yeah, welcome to Gay Sona. Ah. Called jousting. Lesbian. It's going. Say gax. As I stared around absently, I caught sight of a familiar man. He was wearing a gray suit and talking to the guy in charge of the charity event. Sakaki. He seemed to sense my gaze. He looked over his shoulder at me, then came walking over straight away.
Oh, Toa じゃねえか。
Sakaki was the Takasato Gumi's second in command. Given his position, the younger guys all feared him, but he was always pretty nice to me. His smoke was a vibrant green color.
お前はあれか。村瀬さんのお付き合いか。
ああ、さっき小太郎たちと会った。
あ
Battle Twink. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna write the Battle Twink manga. Just you wait. He slid both hands into the pockets of his slacks and looked around.
まあたまにはこういうのもきちんと見に来ねえとな。カジノだセレブだってそんなことばかりやってたら足元がふらついちまうからよ。今日俺たちも後ろぐらい商売だけじゃやってけねえんだ。これからは企業としての体裁も整えていかねえとってやつだ。
They gotta lie. So the people are like, oh my god, you're the Yakuza. He shrugged off my absent response and grinned.
なんか困ったことがあったらいつでも来いよ。最大限のバックアップをしてやるからよ。映画ってのはそう長くは続かねえもんだ。いつ何時戦争が起こるかわからねえからな。
ああ。
それとお前。
He leaned in to whisper in my ear.
親父の葬儀来なかったな。
Yeah, and?
行くわけない。
だよな。お前はそう言って分かっちゃいるんだが。
You're finishing a Megaverse novel? Gamba. There was a suggestive pause as he rubbed his neck.
まい。じゃあな。
Sazage-sona. Should pick up another visual novel soon. I haven't read a visual novel. I'm just saying, link I dropped in the Discord. He promptly cut the conversation short and walked off with a wave.
とはいた。
Right as he left, Ray ran up behind me.
何？榊さんと話してたの？
別に挨拶だけ。
And they have a lot more than just slow damage. Nitro Churro has created quite a few games. There's a lot on there. You should for no reason check out their other games.
そう。
Squinting dubiously, he watched Sakaki disappear into the distance.
あの人もよくわかんない人よね。妙に人情派っていうか、とわをすっごく構うし、息子の面倒を見る父親って感じ。
ガキの頃からの付き合いだし。
まあそれもそうか。そういえばもう一人のメガネの透かした方はやっぱり来てないみたい。
Good, I fucking hate that guy.
でかいのが揃いも揃って邪魔だよ。
Out of nowhere, a mountain of styrofoam containers appeared, interrupting
だ、
us.
何かと思ったらおばあちゃん。
Beneath the mountain of styrofoam was the old lady who ran Tajima's. As she held her containers, she glared up at us She glared up at us sharply. But as soon as she laid eyes on Ray, her expression softened slightly.
なんだよあんた。いたのかい。
She's like, the one not slut in this city. If only she knew.
いたわよ。みんなのお手伝いに来たの。
But Ray is pretty chill, so.
まあ、人手は大いに越したことはないからね。
You're in well for these boys? Welcome to the sickness. Get down with the sickness.
でしょ？おばあちゃんたちの何倍も働けるからどんどん行ってちょうだい。
どんどん。
ああ、助かるよ。
Ray had a massive sweet tooth, so he was always buying things at Tajima's. Because of that, the old lady seemed to have taken a liking to him.
おばあちゃん、それ大丈夫？持とうか？
いや、これぐらいどうってことないよ。他を手伝いな。
わかったわ。でも気をつけてね。
ああ。
As she slowly tottered off, Ray waved goodbye, then slowly turned back to me.
イベントは16時までだからもうすぐ終わりよ。そろそろタクのところへ戻りましょう。
Together we started walking. Before long, we found Taku slumped on a bench, his hands folded on his stomach, looking up at the sky.
Oh.
Oh, hey. When he spotted us, he forced himself upright, fatigue etched deeply into the lines on his face.
お疲れ様。忙しすぎてあっという間に時間経っちゃったわね。
本当にな。お前たち何か食べたか？残り物ならまだあるみたいだな。
私はさっきもらって少し食べたわ。とは
Just need a bit of love to feel better. Hell yeah, they do. That's all they need. That's all we all need. I pulled a pack of cigarettes from the back pocket of my jeans.
まさかあんたのご飯それ？もう。
Alright, thanks Toa. Here we go again. Toa's trying to get me so high when I end stream I pass out. You know what? I'm alright with that. Thanks, Toa.
Toa.
I looked over in response to my name. Then Taku jerked his head to point at something. I looked in the direction he indicated and saw Sakaki standing with Kotaru, Mei, and Eiji.
さっきあいつらと話してただろ。
ああ、話しかけられたから。
昔からの顔見知りだから付き合いやすいんだろうが、あまり深く関わるなよ。
Don't tell me what to do.
そうね。いつトラブルに巻き込まれるかわかんないし。
Yeah, yeah. Ray nodded, frowning. I looked away and didn't say anything. I wasn't trying to get in with any of them. They wanted to talk to me, so I responded, that's all. I was pretty sure Taku understood that, but because he was so paranoid about the Takasato Gumi, he kept nagging me over and over. Ironic, considering how many gangsters he treated at his own clinic.
あ、ねえ、今日はルーストに来るの？
多分。
そう。店長が珍しいお酒を仕入れたから、トワに飲んでみてほしいって言ってたわよ。あまり万人受けしない味らしいんだけど、あんたならいけるんじゃないかって。
Weird alcohol taste testing time. I was generally willing to drink just about anything alcoholic, so if he wanted me to try something, I was down for it.
今晩お待ちしております。
Ray pressed one hand to his chest and bowed like a humble butler.
あまり飲みすぎるなよ。
私が見張るから任せて。
Please babysit me, Ray. Babysit me all night long. Ignoring their banter, I looked out at the setting sun and exhaled a lungful of cigarette smoke. Pseudo damage. So, out of 10, how we feeling, guys? How we feeling? Or out of 5 stars, how we feeling out of 5 stars? Late that night, after the soup kitchen, the 3 of us stopped by the local diner. After that, I headed downtown. Hello! Well, good job. Keep on singing. Singing's fun. Have a good night. I'm definitely not the target audience. Well, what's your stars though? What's your stars out of 5? As I wandered around looking for a place to have a drink, I heard the sounds of an argument in the distance. Well out of 10. There was a crowd of people standing in the middle of the street.
次はないと思うよ。
Through the sea of people, I could see a man in a suit scoffing at the ground. It was Tono. Ah, fuck. I hate... Not a game you'd play, but 4 stars? Okay, that's fine. That's fine. You'll give it a 3. Not the target audience, but I'm definitely not bored. It's well written and so interesting. See, that's the thing. You might not be the target audience, but it is well written. Out of 5, yeah. He was glaring down at a frightened man who had fallen to the asphalt. Then he and his cronies cut through the crowd. As he walked, he spotted me standing there, and his disgruntled scowl shifted to surprise. His reddish-brown smoke fluttered in the breeze. I fucking He and his cronies walked over and came to a stop right in front of me.
こんなところで会うなんて珍しいな。飲み屋探しか。
ああ。
そうか。
He sounded completely uninterested. Then he started cracking his neck.
今の見てたのか？
少し。
No, don't call him an office daddy. Don't like him. You don't get anywhere near him. You don't want him. Trust me. He's bad. We don't like him.
近頃は借りた恩を踏み倒そうとする奴が多くてな。困ったもんだ。
They looked at his head. Even worse. Even worse. All I'm gonna say is something. He wants to fuck me because I look like my mom. Bad office daddy. He's not an office daddy. He's just an office fucker. We don't like him. We don't like him. We don't like him. He let out an exasperated sigh, then donned a condescending smirk. Sorry, I'm just not a fan of people that drug me and lock me in a room after dressing me up in drag to look like my mom. I know it's a spoiler, but I can't have you sitting in my chat being like, Tono. No. We don't like him. Yeah, bet.
村瀬か。純粋にボランティアとして参加するのは大いに結構なことだ。だが、昨日はうちの連中も来てたんだろう。俺たちがそんなイベントにわざわざ参加するなんて、あざといと思わないか？
Well, when you say it like that, well, that's exactly what he fucking does. It's a loaded statement aimed squarely at Sakaki's head. As for me, I just shrugged. Tono's lip curled in contempt.
親父が言って、組もしばらくはゴタゴタするだろうが。もし何か困ったことがあれば言えよ。
I don't
助けてやる。
want your help, bitch. It was obvious he didn't mean a word of it, and he clearly had no intention of pretending otherwise. If anything, maybe he was just mocking Sakaki's general disposition.
じゃあな。
The sudden twist. Look, you needed to know. Okay, you needed to know. You needed to know. You needed to know. He's a bitch. We can't be liking him in this chat. It's always the mullet motherfuckers. It really is. They give mullets a bad name. Likewise, I started walking without a moment's hesitation. Right as I stepped into an empty alley to avoid the crowds, however, my phone buzzed in my coat pocket. I pulled it out and checked the screen. It was a newsletter titled Shinkomi Times from A to Z. AG sent them out to his mailing list periodically. I never asked for a subscription, but apparently anyone who traded contacted with him got added to it. His stance was, if you don't like it, unsubscribe. The newsletter mostly featured local news updates with a light sprinkling of unsubstantiated rumors, informal polls, and other random crap. It was completely useless to me, but since he only sent them every now and again, I couldn't be bothered to unsub. So here I was. I closed my inbox and opened up a new browser tab. From my bookmarks, I selected Roost's blog, The Fourth Face. I like to check it every now and then whenever I felt like it. Sometimes there was some really good submissions, so it was a decent way to kill some time. I hadn't checked in a while, so there were a fair few articles I'd missed. Apparently, they finally caught the artist who was exclusively using oil paint made from human remains. I was following that case for a while. They'd found evidence that he was murdering people to make paint. Honestly, if he managed to make Shinkomi police force get off their asses, then he must have been a pretty shitty criminal. Alas, now I would never paint again. Next, an article discussing an acrylic painter and how their style changed over time. While they started out painting intricate lines in pale colors, they suddenly switched to gloomy pieces painted predominantly with black. Comparing the two styles side by side, I could immediately tell it was a side effect of drug use. I'd seen this stark style shift dozens of times in the past, and it wasn't that uncommon. I skimmed the other articles for a while, then came to a stop at one particular artist. Their alias, phrase. It was a photograph of a wound. Specifically a bloody cut somewhere on the body. I could tell the image had been retouched, but to me it looked like an ordinary self-harm cut. And yet, something was off about it. I didn't know what it was. Was this a wrist or a leg? For a while, I scrutinized the image, trying to work it out. Then I closed the tab. Since it was posted on Roost's blog, the manager there would probably have more information about it. With that thought, I headed to Roost. Yeah, the GEX game says drugs are bad when done, like, bad. But Toa said alcohol and cigarettes, let's go. At first glance, you wouldn't realize Roost was a bar at all. There was no sign out front, so for the most part, it looked like a tall, spindly concrete building. As I stepped inside, the ethereal music and lighting greeted me, like always. The bar was pretty packed, or at least I was having trouble seeing any empty seats. But this wasn't some sports bar for normies. The people who gathered here were of a particular inclination that naturally resulted in tight crowds. Ray walked around waiting tables. Meanwhile, the manager quietly worked from the counter. Manager! He had an unusual hairstyle and always wore a perfectly fitted black shirt. Late 40s if I had to guess. As he crafted cocktails and washed dishes, he gazed around the bar. I had never seen him get emotional or speak a single word more than was strictly necessary. Likewise, his smoke was a calm yellow color like a daffodil. The bar was furnished with all sorts of unusual decorations and paintings. Shields and tapestries like a magical motif, porcelain dolls with cracks all over them, accessories featuring eyeballs and holy crosses. I couldn't help but wonder where he bought this shit. Oh yeah, don't look too closely at the paintings. They're all sex paintings. Altogether, it engendered a vibe that attracted those with eccentric tastes. Everyone was welcome here. That was the manager's attitude, and so it became the dominant culture at Roost. Granted, the barrier to entry was still pretty high for the average normie, but for a fringe minority, it was home.
いらっしゃい。
As I walked up to the counter and sat down on an empty stool, the manager looked up from the glass he was wiping.
トワ君、待ってたよ。実はちょっと頼みがあって。
レイから聞いた。珍しい酒があるって。
そうそう。ちょっと待ってね。
He turned to the shelf behind him, grabbed a bottle, and held it out for me to see.
これね、アブさんっていうよもぎのお酒で、いろんなメーカーから出てるんだけど。
Absinthe.
こっちじゃあまり出回ってないやつをフランスから取り寄せたんだよ。でもこの味は苦手な人も多いだろうから勧めづらくて。トワ君ならいけるんじゃないかと思ったんだ。
She said you can probably drink it. He poured a small amount of green liquid into a glass. Then he set a perforated spoon on top of the glass and placed a sugar cube on top of it. As I watched curiously, he grabbed a jug of water and slowly poured it over the sugar cube and into the glass. Apparently, he was trying to melt the sugar.
そうやって飲むのが普通なのか。
伝統的な飲み方らしいよ。だけど、なかなか手がかかるんだよね。
By the time the cube was nearly melted, the translucent green liquid had gone pale and cloudy. He stirred the glass with the perforated spoon, then slid it over to me.
はい、どうぞ。
I picked it up and took a small sip. The cold liquid slid down my throat, leaving a bitterness in my mouth, not unlike herbal medicine. It tasted like someone put their lawn clippings in a juicer. It was bizarre and potent.
どう？
砂糖なしでもいいんじゃないか。
He nodded, smiling.
トワ君ならそう言うと思ってたよ。その苦味と味の強さが苦手で砂糖を入れる人が多いらしいんだけどね。
度数は
60。
That would explain why it burned my throat. I could understand its lack of broad appeal. 60? Jesus Christ.
とは来てたんだ。
As I was taking my second sip, I heard a familiar voice.
はあ、昼間に運動したから疲れちゃった。
Ray strolled across the bar and sat down next to me. Though he was technically on the clock, he was allowed to sit and chat as long as it wasn't too
昼っ
busy.
て炊き出しのボランティア？
そう、タクが出るっていうから、私とトワも一緒にね。トワは私以上に疲れたんじゃない？いつもだらけてるから。
Finally, someone who understands.
まあな。
I shrugged off his teasing. He made a show of pouting.
何よ、つまんないの。あ、それマスターが言ってたお酒？どうだった？
飲むか。
Gingerly, he took the glass. Like an anxious puppy, he leaned in to sniff it.
やった。何この匂い。トワこれ飲んだの？飲めるの？
ま、普通に。
Ah! Toa.
うわ。私これは匂いだけでダメ。
His unabashed disgust got a chuckle out of the manager.
これって薬草が原料のお酒なのよね。
そうだね。
植物か。
レイ君って植物嫌いだったっけ？
Damn, Ray's a plant hater. I can't believe this.
花は大好きよ。でも植物って見てる分にはいいんだけど、腐ってくるとすごい匂いになるじゃない。だから自分じゃ買ったり育てたりする気にならないのよね。
なるほどね。腐臭っていうのはどの生き物も大体似たような匂いを発するんだよ。鼻に残る嫌な甘ったるさがあるっていうか、人間も植物も動物も。
The subject matter contrasted sharply with his bright smile.
店長って普段は温厚だから忘れがちだけど、やっぱりこのお店の店長よね。
Yeah, he's just, yeah.
ん？
As I talked, an image rose to the forefront of my mind. A wound photo from Ruth's blog. Flowing blood, exposed flesh, the sweet smell of decay wouldn't be too out of place.
店長、聞きたいことがあるんだけど。
どうぞ。
ブログに載ってた傷の画像、あれ知り合い？
ああ、あの画像なかなか良かったでしょ。
何傷の画像って。私その記事まだ見てない。
レイ君、その前にお客さん、会計お願いします。
あ、はい。
Ray rose from his seat and walked over to the register.
話の続きだけど、あの画像ね、僕の知り合いじゃなくて初めて投稿された作品なの。それで僕も気に入ったから作者のフレーズにメールしてみたんだけど、連絡がつかなくて。
Mysterious artist.
一応作品の投稿時にはメールアドレスの記入を必須にしてるんだけど、ステアドだったみたいでね。
ブログには載せてほしいけど、素性は知られたくないってことか。
多分そうだろうね。連絡が取れたら店に作品を展示させてもらおうと思ってたんだけど、また投稿があるかもしれないし、僕も誰か作者を知らないか周りに聞いてみるつもり。何か分かったらトワ君にも教えるね。
まあな。
だと思った。
Roos drew in not just those with eclectic interests, but equally eclectic artists who sought to cultivate a following. As a result, people often came here to get or give out contact info.
お会計終わったわ。さっきの話の続き教えて。
Ray rushed back and eagerly leaned both arms on the counter.
店のブログ見てみろよ。
あ、そっか。まずはそこからよね。オッケー。
He pulled his cell phone from the pocket of his waist apron.
ああ、この画像ね。っていうかとはこれが気になったの？
そう見えるけど違う。
違うの？手首か何かを切った後の画像にしか見えないけど。もし本当に違うならどうやって作ってるのかしら。
今トワ君にも話したんだけど、メールアドレスがステアドだったから連絡が取れなくてね。フレーズっていう名前しかわからない謎の作者なんだよ。
So a strange image from an anonymous artist that looks like self-harm cuts, but there's something off about them, Totoa.
何それ、ミステリアスじゃない。ちょっとワクワクするわね。
Yeah. Ray shot me a meaningful grin.
こういう人がモデルになるといいわね。せっかくあんたが興味持ったんだし、ぴったりじゃない。
そううまくはいかないだろう。
I downed the rest of the bittersweet absinthe.
そうだ、レイ君。この間店でやったボディアートの相談イベント。
え、本当に？
ああ。それでね、定期的に開催してみようかと思うんだけど、レイ君さえ良ければどう？
やるわ。あのイベント、いろんな人の話が聞けてすっごく勉強になったの。そこからお客さんになってくれる人もいたし、またやりたいなって思ってたのよ。
Body art, also known as body modification, was one of Ray's other hobbies. Considering it was a hobby, he researched it pretty thoroughly, and he could perform all kinds of services from tattoos to implants. Have a good night. I'm about to wrap up in probably like 5 minutes. His work was highly acclaimed, and apparently Ruth's recent body art consultation event was a huge hit too. A few decades ago, body art was frowned upon in this country, but in recent years it became accepted for people to augment their bodies. Obviously, tattoos were common, but these days LEDs and IC chips were becoming mainstream too. Some of the customers had glowing fingernails or horns growing out of their forehead. For example, for a lot of people, it was a fashion statement.
それじゃあまたイベントの打ち合わせしようか。
よろしくお願いします。
Tray and dishcloth in hand, Ray cheerfully walked off. Alrighty. And there it is. A good time. No, not to quit the game. Oh, wait, no. Not yet. We have to, wait, no, I lied. There's a pretty important part right here. We won't finish up yet. We'll finish after this. Ray was worried about letting me leave, but I assured him I was used to it. This kind of thing happened all the time. It wasn't rare for me to end up down here on the concrete either. I thought I was walking straight, but everything was spinning, and the next thing I knew, I was on my side. I felt a dull ache spread through my body, but it didn't really bother me, probably because I was so drunk. Now that I was lying down, however, fatigue quickly set in. I didn't want to get up again. My eyelid drooped. It felt like gravity was pulling me down hard against the ground. I guess this is happening. With that thought, I closed my eye. And because I was so wasted, it didn't take long for me to pass out. That'd be the best place to just cut off. Cliffhanger! Cliffhanger, guys! Cliffhanger, everyone! Am I gonna cliffhanger you guys? You know what? I am. Tune in next time to Gay. Have a good night, everybody. I did have fun. I know it's a really weird time period. Don't worry. I'll see you guys again in like 10 hours. For those of you who are not aware, I'll be streaming every day of December. Probably more than once. Like, literally, I'll just be streaming kind of fucking all the time. There's gonna be some more announcements later today, so keep your eyes peeled. And there's gonna be some fun stuff. There's gonna be some fun stuff, okay? For now, we are going to go to Elizabeth Rose Bloodflame. She is doing a karaoke rewind of her November on Archive Karaoke. And I will see the rest of you guys later today. Have a good one.